I just picked up like.
It's got a lot of that in the background.
Outlaw Funk. If you're looking for this song, welcome to Winners Take Y'all. It's show number 252.
That's a very complicated number.
Yes, it is very complicated because we are very complicated men.
And you're very scientific. Your math knowledge too.
Yeah.
You math very well.
Oh, good job.
You're a good mather.
So we
Mather.
last week we had Ricky Johnson. Who do we have the week before? Was that David Bailey or was that
No.
no?
It was Fortner.
Fortner before that, then David Bailey.
Yes.
So if you've missed a few of the shows, all of those are available. Not all of them are available on YouTube, but most or all of them are on Spotify. So Verb Podcast Network. Thanks to the boys at Verb. They got the big Gypsy Tales 500 coming up later on this year. They have the World Mini coming up at Mesquite. So lots of big races out west, and just want to give them a plug on that.
What about Mesquite? Like
cool.
Roxon rode there the other week. What is it's in Nevada. Like what's why would Roxon go ride?
Because they're all hustling. So Cooper Webb was supposed to be on, and they are at Carson Mumford's place up in the hills.
Yep.
They're all chasing dry ground.
Okay,
It's wet
so they're
right
just
now.
trying to
all the dudes are out hustling and scattered
Just
out
trying to
get
ride.
motos in. Yeah, there's some dudes at Hemet and then at Mesquite and up at Carson's place. So
Okay.
That's just telling me, right? That's. I mean, I get that they're all hustling. They're looking for dry ground. But what that's telling me about us is we don't want it. We don't want it bad enough. We got to want it more because we've just been sitting here watching it rain
we're not even doing anything.
and not right.
Well,
we could have
and
been
it's
hustling
cold.
somewhere.
We haven't chased
Man,
anywhere.
it's cold. I don't think I can
This brings
ride.
me back to that conversation we had with Bobby Hewitt when we were like, why does nobody have a covered Supercross track? He goes,
Yeah.
And he kind of goes,
Maybe they will.
And like, should at this stage of our
It's
sport,
a lot of money invested in these dudes. Like,
Right.
oh, really? We're not
Right.
going to be able to practice because it rained too much?
so we have to go to Florida, North Carolina.
We can't build a metal building just to put them in.
We just don't have enough budget.
Pavilion.
Yeah, it's a pavilion.
What do you think of building an open span,
I don't know.
100
It's-
grand?
Yeah.
Open
Because you don't need a
walls,
slab.
no-
You just need footers.
And I don't even know if they need lights. They might put
You
lights
don't need,
in there,
You
but
don't even need walls. I mean,
No.
it just needs a cover.
it needs a
Yeah,
cover.
it just needs a roof.
Yeah.
Because the temperature is only like last week would have got you in the teens, but dude, you're in the 40s, you're getting it done.
Yeah, you can
you're getting
ride.
out there.
Nick says that all the time, man. If it's in the mid 40s
Look, dude,
or what,
I'll
can
tell you
ride.
this: if this was my place, how I would do it, I would have a sprinkler system up top, like you would at any for fires, just a reverse sprinkler system. Turn that thing on, have it mist down because it's out of the sun.
Yeah.
out so you could just mist that
Just
thing
sort of dampen it
and
a
just
little, right?
and you would never have to have like those big guns and over wet it
Yeah.
and shit like that. Since it's not hitting direct
Not
sunlight,
like the Villeman years where you got a shovel, a gas can
yeah.
for the water
Right.
pump.
that's nuts.
You just
None of
put
that.
up misters like they have at amusement parks, to keep people
you
from
think-
dying.
Something not necessarily that, but like sprinklers, like regular, but up
Yeah.
top, and they just spray
Yeah.
down and it's handled.
Just some
Regardless
moisture.
of the configuration of the track, just set it up on
Just
grids
wet the
and-
whole thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You just have
Easy
to make
fix.
sure that the pavilion's tall enough.
And that's
Oh,
so
no,
that's one of the
obviously.
You
things
don't
because
clock everybody on the first lap.
dude, I can remember in Alabama Arena
Seriously,
Cross
Bobby, 12 feet was the height you went with.
when Ezra turned pro, the Alabama Arena Cross. There's some trophies right there. It looked like inches from those rafters.
Did you do the
dude.
one in Gwinnett? At one of the Gwinnett?
No.
Like, dude, I went to that one.
Kyle went there.
I went there, yeah, and
Yeah.
that dude had pillar. It was like a mall. Like I'm talking about ceilings were about 14. Like the jumps were like no way, man. They had pillars. You had to work your way around. It was the most ghetto,
Scary.
janky ass.
It could go wrong.
It did go wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all pitted in the gap.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Right.
Yeah, it was super cheesy.
Dudes are late,
but it was
'cause
awesome.
they're in
at
the
same
food
time.
court, so.
Yeah, man, the concessions are awesome here. I got Sbarro, man. It's
Yeah.
killer.
Love Sbarro.
Dude. All
Yeah.
day, every day.
No, but that is the issue. So now you got to have an engineer spec out.
Well, I mean, just
They
how
don't.
high do these
Buildings
dudes
aren't
go?
normally like 60 feet tall unless
I mean,
they're
not
not
gonna
pavilions.
They're not going to be 60 feet vertically.
No, I know, but I'm saying a building that tall is usually not a pavilion where wind
Correct.
can go
Can get
through
in.
it. It's
They'll have to
usually a
engineer that
building.
part. You're
yes. So you got to get an engineer. There's going to be a lot going on.
So what
But
would you
who
think
cares?
the height would be? Like the Supercross, a finish line, they probably get as high on a finish line double. Like that thing's super high. If you
It
figure
appears like 30 feet
from the top. I'm talking about full vertical leap.
of their helmet to the
Tip
ground,
of the bike
to the flat ground.
Yeah. Probably 45 feet, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like 30 to me. So, yeah, probably more.
Well, the
Let's
jump's
guess.
probably 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be another 10 feet above that, plus the height
Or
of the bike,
more. Yeah.
plus their height themselves. So
Yeah, it'd probably be safe to be at 50 feet, right?
Why not?
50
if you're
feet.
going to do
geez,
it. Jeez, man.
That's
We're
high.
not doing X Games step up here, so I think we're good on that.
I mean, you'd think that 50 feet would be enough, but
It can't
can
cut
always
it
dig
close.
down.
We
Like,
decapitated one of our riders because our building was too short.
yeah, I'd hate to be the one that found out that it was too short.
Dang. I mean,
Just dig it
damn.
down. Chad Ward, that's why he did his place. He dug the floor out. Like you just keep,
Oh, he
it's
built
just
the
dirt.
building and then lowered everything.
Keep digging down.
I didn't know about that. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I kind of did that on my pole barn on the back of the barn.
There you go.
So that old excavator don't dig in right there. You just knock her down a couple of feet.
Had a buddy of mine hit me up, or not a buddy, but just a dude on Twitter goes, "Hey man, love the show, but your volume is not good enough." So I've got a new setting. Hopefully this is not too loud for you dudes. I got it. But he said it was good. He hit me back up. I said, "Thanks for the follow up." The charcuterie guy that didn't like us eating on the show.
He's mad about those
back.
chips, dude.
No, I think
he's back.
I think he listened. So we stopped eating
Well, we listened.
for the most part.
We
listened.
listened.
He
We
listened.
stopped
eating.
eating and we listened to his complaint.
Thanks to him, we're all getting our nutrition intravenously during the show.
We're cutting weight.
Yeah, we just straight IVs. You know, and HR has been working hard to, I mean, every time one of these complaints come in, we get a newsletter or
We have
an
to
email.
all fly out.
Yeah, and everybody
It's like
meets
100
up.
people have to get together in our 7-story building
We
in
get 10
Valencia.
lashes.
More rules. We got
Seriously.
more rules. Now we can't slowly crunch our chips.
Slowly.
And that's how you liked it. Remember,
pork
Kevin?
rinds, dude. The slow. I
Kevin
want to hear
was like-
every crack. If you could have eaten corn on the cob as each little poppity pop
Each
comes.
kernel popping.
So tonight we have Feld Motorsports. I think he might be Supercross director Mike Muye.
Mike Muye.
I was just I'm not even going to get into we can talk about it, but I not with him, but like the specifics of a day of Supercross. I am so fascinated with the logistics of moving in, setting up. When do we cancel practice? Who's in charge? How do these meetings go down?
And they're down to a
And
science.
plastic
on it.
rolling out. Are we liming this thing? Are we we setting dude's skin on fire? What are we doing now?
Is
So,
the owner of the building often irritated after they
Arthur
leave?
Blank? Ask Arthur because we don't
Yeah.
go to Mercedes-Benz zone because of that.
Yeah,
So,
he was obviously didn't like that, right?
Didn't dig it.
So some of these guys had to have complained. And think about the number of open air stadiums.
Yeah.
That tells me the dudes with the closed roofs aren't digging sometimes how dirty.
I mean, they
'cause
went to. They've been to Houston, right? The NRG. They.
Detroit's coming. It's a roof. It's got a roof.
Detroit is, but there's not a lot.
Detroit.
Really.
Apart. We's up at Detroit. Yeah. It's
Detroit
just,
Lions, man.
it just makes me wonder, if an open air stadium guy is a little more open to a mess. Because heck, man, the weather
He's
gets
used
in
to
his
it
building.
raining.
Right. Right. So those are questions we can ask Mike. I just was thinking. I'm just interested in the whole behind the scenes of.
Does he ever get
Supercross.
on the CB when the trucks are coming in, dumping dirt? And he's
All
like,
right, buddy, back it up.
All
Right
right,
there. That's good. Right.
big house, lock her down right there.
I doubt he does that, but just like I want to know how much pressure washer fuel they burnt
What the pressure
On
washer fuel
washing
budget
tough
is.
block
washing
covers.
tough blocks and
And
trailers.
did they
Last 3
hand
weeks,
wash?
Yeah.
Dude, that is work to make that shit look right. It has to look nice.
Has to look perfect, I
Yeah.
think. They're probably armor all in them things and
Dude,
everything else.
Like day of, I've been to races where they got brooms. They sweep the tops of the tough blocks off. They
I've seen 'em do that.
respray the start finish. The air down the start line. All that stuff. The little details. When you see a Supercross, you're like, oh, that's cool. Looks nice.
Yeah.
Go watch a Supercross from.
Oh my
Go
God.
watch. I'll tell you a specific one to watch. I don't know the year, but go watch the Meadowlands Supercross.
New Jersey or
It looks
something.
like a trash dump. Like they were racing.
Hey, New
Like,
Jersey is the
it-
landfill state.
That
son.
thing has there's if you watch older Supercross from the early 80s, I'm talking about 83,
Real hay
82.
bales.
They're real hay bales, and then there's about 5. It looks like they brought in 10,000 pages of notebook paper and said, "Get it out there,
Yeah.
let's get it on the track." And
Guys,
then,
we need all this paper. Put
and then I
out.
feel like there was a contest that said, "Who wants to be on the Supercross floor?" We only have 400 available
we're
slots.
down to 400 slots.
If you watch a Supercross race, it's like a school of fish. This dude just hauling ass on the track, going woo, like Bob Hanna. It's crazy to watch.
it's
Like,
a little risky. Obviously,
Yes.
those 400 got killed, and then they're like, we better just
can't do
release
that anymore.
300.
Yeah, then they kept.
And then they're like,
limiting-
maybe 200.
and you could wear anything, and now it's all team apparel. It's got to be buttoned up behind the gate. I know there's certain
Yeah.
rules these dudes have to follow, so they've really tightened up the look of it. And if you look at like the Super Bowl of motocross in LA, when Homeboy comes down in a motorcycle with a paraglider wing hooked to it, and he jumps across the whole floor, crashes into a van, like the stunts they did were just
the
epic,
halftime
dude.
show
Yes,
kind of stuff.
man.
Yeah.
It was so loose.
The Coca-Cola catapult.
Yeah.
And just like, let's see who can get paralyzed. You know, it'll be
Let's do
killer. Which DJ can we kill from the local radio station?
The Coca-Cola, the Mr. Pibb catapult.
Oh, Mr. Pibb, yeah.
It was a Coca-Cola catapult in Atlanta. You're right.
Okay.
Through the uprights there.
About to be very embarrassed.
Who was it, Willard or something like that? One dude jumped
Willard,
through it.
96
He's like,
Rock.
man, this is easy. Because I remember dudes talking about this guy was dogging us out on the radio, like how easy
all you
racing
do
was.
is sit there and turn that throttle. There's nothing to it.
Sure, whatever.
Isn't
you
it
say.
funny sometimes you talk to somebody about dirt bikes and you're like, yeah, it was, they're like, you get tired riding
What's
a
so
dirt bike?
fun about that? You don't even have to do anything.
You get tired. You have to be in shape to ride a dirt bike?
I've had a million people say that throughout my lifetime. They have no idea.
No.
We also have Jason Weigandt on too. I thought we should say that. I mean, whatever. He's
You didn't seem motivated about
last ditch, I guess. Well, I just figured I'd give him his one shot. He's the first guy we've had on
that. His one shot.
besides Ricky. It's the second, the
Yeah.
only
So
person
he's
that's
the
a two-time returning guest here. Ricky and Weege. Like that's some pretty high. You're
Scary, really.
Yeah, you got to hold up with what.
Yeah, I got to talk to Weege about something too with this. I know how cheap he is. And
Do you?
talk about? Well, no, I just hear it from you mostly.
It's real.
How bad he is. Okay, so yesterday we went snow skiing. I think that there was some formula that somebody might have gotten from Weege about like how much gas you use, how much this. There were 4 of us that went. We wound up taking my Jeep truck. We drive, and so one guy went to chip in on gas, and when I was pulling off, he put $3 worth in.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I swear.
Could you imagine that? There's like
Did you
0.9
go?
gallons. Yeah.
$3?
That might. All right, you just look at me. You just know it was me.
Who does that?
You
You
just
He
might
put
know.
$3 worth of gas in my Jeep.
Well, first of all,
put $3.
It was
seriously?
Iranian Danny DeVito that owned the station. Iranian Danny DeVito has a pump problem. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to fill this. Because he kept going, oh, we got enough to get home. And I'm like, and then your tank is empty for tomorrow. So I'm going to fill it up. And I put the card in there and I put the thing in there and it's going 5 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents. And so it ran forever, dude. We never got a gallon. I was just like,
I
Nick
think
goes,
it had less gas in when we pulled away from the pump than it did when we started.
Iranian Danny DeVito's pump was going backwards.
It's no lie.
and
man.
Sucking the gas
it
out of
sucked
your-
0.9 gallons
This
out.
dude was definitely. He looked just like Danny
did
DeVito,
you not
except
get
tan?
as if he was brown.
What?
How'd you not get a picture of him?
Dude, short, dude. You'd have had to like hold your phone up over the camera.
What are you
and, like,
doing?
He's down there.
Wow.
Like you couldn't, if you just stood back 2 feet, you couldn't see him.
We were in that store an inordinate amount of time because we were just walking around looking
Yeah, I
for a
thought
snack.
nobody worked there.
And we were the whole time. We thought nobody was there.
I was like, dude, nobody works here. And Nick's just like, no, somebody's here. And I'm like, no,
out
I
there
don't think so.
Pulling slots with the boys in the
But
back
he
there.
was behind the counter. He was just so short.
Oh, okay. He was
That
just so
like there was 3 little hairs sticking up off the top
kind
of
of
his head.
wispy blowing around. That's all you could see was just the hairs
You had,
above
I
the
mean, to be
counter.
focused on some salt and pepper Iranian hair, just whistling
in
back
the
and forth.
booming town of Cedar Bluff, Georgia.
No, Mineral Bluff.
Mineral
Bluff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mineral Bluff.
Sorry,
boy.
Cedar
It's like
Bluff.
and when all 8 people go to work at the same time, dude, it's
Shut
a
it down.
terrible train wreck of traffic.
Yeah.
Interesting. $3.
So yeah, he got $3, but 0.9 gallons was the contribution.
That's what I was told. Now that whole thing there was his side of the story.
He does know that his gas gauge didn't go up. It
I couldn't
appeared to go
verify any
down.
of that.
Fair enough.
It appeared to go down. I'm
How's
just saying.
skiing?
All right, so I've never skied.
Really?
I've been asked every year of my entire life.
So,
you know what's sad is every time I've ever said no, it was just because I didn't want to be cold.
This guy, he does. I don't want to work on the bikes. It's just hard. Like he don't want to.
I must have a lazy streak, like
But
40
you don't,
miles
and
wide.
but you're a hard worker.
I do
you
everything
create
that
a
needs
super
to be
successful business, but he'll just talk himself out of doing anything.
No,
I didn't give him a choice.
well, no. Nick goes, "You're going to go to Park City, Utah to ski. You don't want to go
He
out
made a
there and
good
try
point.
to learn. Why would you learn there?"
So you're going to Park City later on. This is a
Yes.
great place to learn what you're
yeah.
doing.
and
Where'd you
they
go?
had-
Cataloochee? Is that where you guys
Cataloochee.
went?
They had
How far?
something-
What's the drive from here?
3 hours.
3.
3 hours. So
What
3
they
hours.
have
You're on.
19 inches of snow or something
Oh
ridiculous.
my
Last week,
God! So
yeah,
you guys
20 yeah.
hit epic conditions. Like the
The
timing
snow was. I mean, I thought it was awesome. I've never seen that much snow.
Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
East
for
Coast
the
snow's
East Coast,
usually wet and
It was in a small place like that.
It
For
wasn't
East Coast,
wet.
It was good.
It
Yeah.
wasn't
awesome
wet.
because it was cold enough to keep it.
It was the best snow I've seen there.
Yeah. And so we go
So how'd
there.
you do?
He hands me. I get all my rental equipment, and we put it on the ground.
You're
Nick's
that
like,
nerd, like when you go to the skating rink with them creamy brown shoes with the orange toe stock. Like, what a nerd! So you're that
Loser.
guy with the rental equipment.
Oh yeah,
I would
got
be
the
too.
orange stickers on there,
Nerd,
proving that it's a
loser,
rental.
Rental jacket, rental.
No,
Toboggan.
I borrowed the jacket, so I had borrowed jacket. But no, so Nick's like, click into that ski, click into the other one.
Here we go.
And it was barely downhill. I mean, barely. He goes, go forward and cross your skis. Let me see you stop.
Not cross. Point them together.
Yeah, point them together. Not truly cross. Yeah.
You said cross.
So angle your skis at each other. And I did it. And he goes, well, you got 15 minutes till ski school. Let's get on the lift. And I'm like, oh,
you're
whoa,
good,
whoa,
bro.
whoa. I'm like, I don't think so.
I've done this before. I know exactly how this story
I was
ends.
scared. I was like, man, there's no way.
Just
He
getting
goes,
on the lift is intimidating.
well, I was nervous about the lift. Yeah. You always see these videos of the
Yes.
dude hanging by one ski. He's upside down.
Nick would have you. I got you. Just hold on.
Just hang on. We'll be up there in a minute.
20 minutes later, still
So
got you.
we go to the little top of the kiddie slope. I mean, it's short and it's pretty flat. And I came down it without crashing. And so we might have done that twice, right, Nick? And then he sends me to ski school. And so I go into ski school, and dude, it's the most basic of basics.
There's newborn babies in you, right?
Yeah, and they're like, well, now if you guys complete this, you'll get Lunchables and a
an
high
orange
C.
slice.
A juice box.
Cool.
And so I'm over there at school, and I got like Sean White beside me who wants to be radical, but he knows nothing. He looked just like him. He had long red hair, and I'm just like, she's going, here's how you put your ski on. And I already been to Nick's ski school.
Look,
it was like
I've
a
done this
4-minute
one.
school, but he taught me way more than the ski school lady. And she barely spoke English.
I don't
So,
want to hurt your feelings.
so Nick comes and breaks me out of school.
Come on, we're getting out of here.
He's like, look, man, are you learning anything? And I go, no, I haven't even gotten past what you taught me. And he's like, well, you're good.
You're going to school of hard knocks, bro. Let's do this.
So we just immediately go to the very top of the
Sir,
mountain.
excuse me, have you checked him out yet?
Yeah, I mean, we had to like ease off
He's
the
smoking
side.
it. He ain't checking out shit.
Second place, the first loser. I was all Ricky Bobby's dad on him.
Yeah.
Listen up, kids.
Any boy of mine gonna be anything, it ain't gonna come from the learning derived in this place. Yeah. So Nick's like, let's go to the top of the mountain. And I'm nervous because I'm not confident stopping. So I picture myself just gaining speed. Just trees are coming,
Sonny Bono into the trees.
Yeah.
It's
So
done.
I skied all day. There was never a line. You come down straight back on the lift, and we skied for 6 hours.
I'm so jealous. It was awesome, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome. But I had 3 crashes, and all 3 were in the exact same spot, like halfway down the
Yeah,
mountain.
it's just like racing. He had
Bermuda Triangle, your spot.
He had a mental block on this one corner.
Every time I would turn that curve, I'd just be like, whoa.
You get a mental block on one rut. And you
I
just,
took him out one time.
Just can't get out of there. Yeah, he took me out. He fell, and I was watching him. He just sliding down the hill. I was kind of laughing. I thought he was going to stop. No, he just took me out too.
Sorry.
It was
I
awesome.
ski right across the
But
Nick's
it
ankles.
was like, how when you're riding, there's a long rut on a track, and you got a middle like that. Just one rut.
I'm gonna eat it.
That one rut you can't ever get through clean. That was
me
for John.
and it was kind of our whole group. Everybody fell there pretty much. I caused you to fall though. Nick is a really good skier, so
Of course.
and I held him back a lot. I was the slowest, but I'm like, what is to gain from me going fast? My goal was to take a lesson. If I got to go down the hill twice, I was happy. Well, we probably went what?
Shit, 20 times.
So you're ahead of the curve. Like for your Park City deal is going to be way better than.
Oh, that trip right there was invaluable to because he can go to Park City now and ski. Like
Yeah,
he
I feel confident.
but he
One
did well.
day.
He listened very well. Like everything that what I mean. He was.
So don't be a wuss. Okay.
He was a good.
Just go
good
fast.
student. Yeah.
That's what he said.
Like,
You just need
Tyler
to go
Bowers
faster.
just shows up. Just go fast down the hill. Like,
Go do that.
Just do this.
I found
Go
like,
that way really fast. If something gets in your way,
Freaking
turn.
nail it. I mean, no, don't.
I found it like you had to be pretty determined. It's just like moto. I mean, there's things that you can't. Hello, Amanda. Obviously, you need something, but there's
Come on around here.
Yes.
You're going to be in the show now. You're in the
yeah,
show.
you're in it
Okay,
now.
come
We've
on.
acknowledged
John's
you.
wife is in the show. No,
Come
no,
in, sit
not
down.
yet. But as soon as you come beyond that camera, you're good.
You're fine. It's time. I can't read lips. You're gonna have. You need money.
Money, baby.
She's coming down here for money.
Oh my gosh.
She saw Nick come in, and it made her think of money.
I need some money.
And so,
Give her that Kroger card. Say, do I know get some groceries?
you got any Kohl's cash?
You take Cole's cash,
How much do you need? I mean, I'm just
1,000.
1,000, 2,000. whatever it is.
There
Look
you
at him
go.
throwing that money like a
Work it.
like
Let
a
me
hook
work
ring.
it.
Come on, man.
You'd make it rain to your wife like that.
I don't know how much to give her. I just gave her everything I
Like,
had.
where are you going? I don't even know.
I don't know. Well, depending on how much that was, then she would determine where she's
Down
going.
payment on a Jeep.
I'm scared, man. But you have to be determined when you're coming down those slopes because you're sitting there carving, trying to scrub speed the whole time. And when you're first learning to do that, you've got an angle you're trying to achieve and how much to turn. And sometimes you couldn't turn as sharp as you wanted, but you just have to keep fighting for that. Just fight towards your destination.
He didn't listen to everything. And
What did he not listen to?
I hate to be like
Do it.
super
Yes. Negative, nasty.
You know, I'm not like, I would rather,
Just give it to him.
sister in a whorehouse and ride a
You're the employee of the month, by the way.
My brother on
Who
a
is?
Harley.
He is.
Man, that's horseshit.
I'm sorry. I thought
we wouldn't have a show right now if it wasn't for me.
I'm not about the Harley. Listen,
Nick, you're the employee of the month. by the
thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks,
way. You don't
everybody.
even care.
Employee of the month. I really do appreciate it.
I think it's just he
expected it.
So
doesn't
used to
believe it's true
I've been
because
putting
how
in the
could
work,
it be?
so I expected it.
Okay.
So,
Well, I
just
guess you
gotta-
taught him how to ski, so that's just another reason why you're
But-
the employee of the month.
Yeah.
you know,
Such.
we do have an issue, and this is something that we're going to broadcast.
Get on that mic, dog.
You know, John has a
Pull that bitch to you.
you
claim-
need to quit being so supportive of Nick having a problem
He claimed
with me.
he claimed the award for the best hair in Dallas.
Yep.
You know,
I
he's
didn't
got-
just claim it.
No, he's got the belt.
I got
I know he's
multiple
got the
belt
belt.
buckles. I'm in the Georgia Hair
Well,
Hall of
yesterday
Fame.
he covered it all up with a helmet.
Did you run nothing? You
On
just
the
went
sleeves.
full hair.
Dude, you don't cover up this with a
Nick-
helmet.
He had the
was
fury
like-
hair. Just wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being behind that. I'm thinking Kingpin. I'm
Oh,
just
it was
looking at this guy's
distracting,
hair.
dude.
The Kingpin dude.
I was probably the only person on the mountain without a helmet.
And he
So
didn't even
sexy.
know
And
toboggan.
when he falls, the snow just goes, just melts
his face
immediately.
is so hot.
Dang, dude.
He was giving me a hard time about that helmet. He goes, "You're going to cover up the best hair in Dallas?" And I'm like,
Got to protect this.
"I
head,
don't
dog.
want to." He goes, "I'm going to report you."
to the hair club.
Yeah,
of
and I'm
Dallas?
just like, "Listen, man,
I'm
like
gonna
they don't
turn him
need
into the committee.
Okay.
I feel like if you're out of state, you're not
No, you have
under
to
those
represent.
rules.
You have to represent when you go out of state. You
Good
can't go.
Good enough.
Miss America doesn't get fat when she goes somewhere to another country.
She just goes out of town and starts ordering blizzards.
Yeah,
Still sexy no matter where she is.
she has to be sexy and represent. And same with you.
John, let's run down
Okay,
our sponsors.
I didn't
before
think
we get
about that.
Too deep into the show. Hit our sponsors up.
Do you feel like me wearing a helmet's going to hurt the sponsors? Like I feel like now
No,
everything
because if
I-
you're brain dead, then you're no good to us.
Did you ever need the helmet?
I don't know because the one time
That's not a good insurance. Is you just you buy insurance for hoping you don't need it. And when
Yeah.
you got it, thank God. You
I
got
don't
it.
know that I hit my head, but there was
Yeah.
one where it
Yes,
was where
you
I
needed it.
didn't know which way was up for a minute.
Yes.
I've done a lot of snow skiing and I've only been concussed one time.
Nick's down there like, dude, you don't need a freaking helmet.
You
don't
can
even
need
worry
a
about a
helmet.
helmet.
All right, next time you go to scrubbing dirt, let's just freaking do it without a helmet.
You know what I needed though? I needed helmet skins. I could have put
That's what I
freaking
was saying.
lever
He
skins.
didn't have a skin on.
What if I had stretched lever skins over the skis? Because they're pretty skinny. You could stretch a lever skin.
Those are our sponsors, by the way.
Rhino skins, helmet skins, lever skins, pork skins,
Lamb skins,
lamb
shirts and
lamb
skins.
skin. Yeah.
Look at this pup. Come here, dog. Come
Here
on,
comes
buddy.
Waylon Wooferson, guys.
What's up, buddy? You're on the show, man.
Hello, Waylon Wooferson.
buddy.
Now he is half
at him.
Basset Hound, half
Look at
Labrador.
that tail.
They're known
Nick,
as
say hello to that
Bassadors
Look at that Bassador.
because he's a short.
He's the best
Labrador.
ambassador of this show.
He's mad about the skins, dude. He heard pork skins.
He came all the way down here.
You
for
can
that.
tell he likes to eat.
Take a seat,
Look,
big
this
dog.
monkey
Yes.
never came down
That's
here.
what's up.
That's hilarious.
He knows
So,
good people when he sees them. They're great.
The one
Look
you
at him.
know,
He's posing now. He's
Skintimate lotions. It's not really dog friendly.
Skintastic?
Skintastic is really more pet friendly. It's more of a spray.
What's the spray that you use to keep bugs away, like the Avon? Isn't that skin something?
Yeah,
Skin So
Skin
Soft.
so
Skin
soft.
So
Dude,
Soft.
we need to approach
We're
them.
gonna hit them
Skin
up.
anything
So
with
Soft.
skins.
Do I need to add that right now to the list?
You don't have to, but
I just
so
got to
they
keep
know.
it in the folder. If I'm
And-
maybe I can get employee of the month if I get if I
Don't
seal.
forget about Fast House,
Oh, Fast
wearing
House. That's
t-shirt.
right.
Yeah.
Faster Minis.
Faster Minis. And to shout out for Fast House, I wore a pair of those big stripy Fast House socks yesterday to snow skiing.
Yeah, and then he goes to the locker room, gets 99% naked, except for the socks
Sock on his
and
wiener.
tiniest boxers you've ever seen.
His
He's like,
lambskin
thank
rubber
goodness
off.
they give us a place to just get naked and comfortable after skiing. And he's walking around in there.
He's the old guy.
Oh, there's people everywhere, except for when he started this. And he's like, yeah, man, I just like being naked after I ski. And he's saying it so loud, pacing around all cocky and stuff, dude.
I dare anybody come in here more nakeder than me, son. Ain't happening.
Anybody try to be more nakeder than this right here, son?
I
got
figured it was
issues.
a good place to be that way in public. Nobody was going to say anything. They were cool. But those...
Nobody wants to attack us.
He said the place was like hot tub time machine. So
Yeah.
in my world, you were just getting ready for the hot tub.
And I had those, like those big...
Bye, Waylon Wifferson.
Yep. See you, Waylon.
He's like, there wasn't no food
Fast
anyway.
house socks on. And I don't know how warm they were. My feet never got cold. But... they never like bunched up or crinkled. Or
They were, when you took off your, whatever those bibs.
Still had the garters on.
They were all the way to the top.
Yeah, they were still up to my knees.
You didn't see
They
the
were-
thigh highs
they
that
were
were super
perfect.
see-through
They were
garters.
holding it. Yes, very sexy. They
nice.
accentuate his quads, which that's a thing. If you ever said, hey, we're going to go to the gym and we're going to do half squats for 6 hours. You cool with that? But somehow you can ski. I knew my legs were burning at some of these runs because I've never done that. I had muscles in my feet that burned. Like, because you're trying to control the angle of them skis.
Sure.
God,
man.
dude.
You're using muscles that obviously you haven't used
You
in a
can't
while,
really
ever.
use them.
Yeah, you can't prepare for
Unless
that.
I stand on a 2x4.
There is a lot of the same feeling for moto or riding a motorcycle and snow skiing.
And making love.
And
There's-
flow, because you get a flow.
You get a flow.
Like, just like making love.
You get that little zen going. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It's.
I only had that once or twice. I feel like y'all could go to any slope and just go down the very first time and be checking out the scenery.
Yeah,
I
like a
wasn't checking
Supercross
those
rider when they
scenery.
hit the track, roar up first time.
Yeah, we know how far.
Hey,
That's
buddy, you back?
67 feet.
Oh, he's taking a poop.
Yeah.
Waylon, no. Where you going? Waylon, don't doo-doo over there, you stupid
Look at him,
idiot.
he's over there.
Where
Don't
is
you
he
talk-
going?
he's going to check
This dog never explores, man. He's got his one little routine
Look at him.
upstairs. He don't come to... He's like, 83 RM80.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Here he comes. Dude, what is he? What does he need? And what if he is trying to tell us? What if he has like a...
He knows
What? The
something's going
Germans are coming?
Little Timmy fell in the well.
on. What?
Yeah, that's what I think. It's like Lassie.
What? He's a dolphin.
It's just
too.
like Flipper. Yeah. Hey, Waylon, you want some Fireball?
Come on back in here, buddy. Get in the show. If we're going to do it. Do it. Get in the shot, homie.
Get you some
Some
Fireball.
doggy fireball. Well, let's call the senior director of Supercross, Mike Muye, and see what he's got going on. I'm going to just do it live. We'll do it live.
This is senior year, or he's
Yep.
just the senior.
No, he is a senior this
We
year.
got
too.
new helmets in our shot, John. Did you change the helmets up?
I changed the helmets. That one's a Steve Wise helmet right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Motocross Fox Steve Wise. So that's early. That's probably a Suzuki motorcycle that had Motocross Fox paint job. And then this one is a Marty Tripes number 558 on a Harley Davidson, the year that
Whoa.
Harley chose to. And both of these are signed. This one's signed by Marty Tripes, the
you sign that one in?
1972 Super Bowl of Motocross winner right there. And then Steve Wise, he was a factory Honda rider.
He was the
Won in a lot of disciplines. Road racing.
Yeah, road racing. He won at Mid Ohio. He won on the road course and the motocross track. He was
Yeah.
our grand marshal
Grand
last
marshal.
year at Vintage Motorcycle Days, which we will go to. Yeah, you guys were there. Duh.
Yeah, he's a great dude. I mean, both of them are. Marty Tripes is really funny and great storyteller. He's probably one of the more naturally talented early era motocross racers. Just didn't really have to train. He was just one of those guys who could win any given day. Hannah would tell you, Marty
Sure.
Tripes felt like winning that day. You're not beating
You're
him.
done.
And Steve Wise, I think, was just more versatile. He was kind of he won a bunch of races, but he also he could just ride anything. He didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't specific to. He did real good at that Superbikers event at Carlsbad.
God, how badass
Freaking
was
118 or something down some
Dude.
straightaway on a 500.
I watched the video the other day. Those super bikers at Carlsbad. That is sick.
It's scary, dude.
It is.
They go down the drag
so
strip
awesome
like
to
wide
watch,
open.
man. They were flying.
Well,
Flying.
and so I met both of these guys. They were at Diamond Don's Vintage Motocross Race in East Texas, which is Jefferson, Texas, and Brad Lackey was there. Chuck Sun was there. There was a guy named Zednik Velke.
Yeah.
You ever heard of him?
No.
He's a foreign rider, but he was there. And I said, how do
Having
you
to
say
restart
your
my
first
phone for
name?
whatever reason, even though we were just listening to the music that was coming from my phone.
God.
Sorry, Mike Muye. We're going to call you back just 1 second.
Zednik is a
Zednik. I said, how do you pronounce that? He goes, like a redneck.
Except Zednik.
Zednik.
Zednik Velke. Yeah, but if
tell
you
that's
Google
foreign,
that
though.
name and it's spelled just like it sounds, it's he won a lot of races, a lot of international stuff. So I got to sit with him at a dinner, and I had Lackey and DeCoster across from me, and man, Lackey knew all about this Zednik Velke dude, and
Did his friends call him Zed? Or Nick?
It's Nick.
I don't know what they call him. That's a great question, and I feel really stupid for not knowing. But no, it was just
Zed's dead, baby.
they all had to experience Roger DeCoster at full speed. Both of those dudes at my table, and you could feel the respect. You could feel that they had ate roost off a factory Suzuki.
Yeah.
500.
All right. I don't know what the deal is when we having to restart this phone, but
Well, I'll tell you part of your problem.
Pay that bill.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Mike
a-
Muye.
yes.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today, this evening, tomorrow, whatever day it is, wherever you're at?
How are you tomorrow?
Oh,
Good, bud.
I mean,
How are you?
Just tell us you have issues without telling us you have issues, Kevin.
no.
How are you doing tomorrow, Mike Muye?
Well, hopefully it's going to be dry over the next few days, and we'll get us a dry race in. So I think that would probably alleviate some of your issues, right?
Man, yeah. So actually, the week started out a little bit rough. I think you guys are out in California, right?
No, we're on the
so
east. We're on the East Coast, so no.
Oh, you are.
Yep, we're in Atlanta.
Okay, so yeah, the start of the week was a little rough out there. Sunday and Monday they got 2.5 inches of rain, so pushed back our load in. The guys started actually today after scooping out all the muck off what was left after our Monster Jam event last weekend, and now they're going strong, and they'll have a couple of late nights, and yeah, right now I'm pretty stoked with the outlook.
So you do have a good forecast coming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about the dirt now. So you took all that dirt out now? Were you using dirt that's been covered and ready to go, or how's that work?
Yeah, so our stockpile's a little bit bigger than what we actually need to use. So we basically just, like I explained, we scoop it up,
Get it
take
out.
it outside, yep, and bring in new.
Is that Sean Brennan in the background?
No, sorry. Of course, they've been quiet all day long until right now.
No, it's all good. We're big dog fans. We got our little footrest here as a big dog ourselves, so
Yeah.
he's hanging out with us.
We got a big fat dog. He's not really tall, but he's real wide.
Well,
And he never
Same.
barks. He barks like one time if he's going to bark.
got a low center of gravity. So, Mike, you're the senior director of Supercross, so you've worked your way up, and I mean, you've got your hands on pretty much every part of the race day experience. So, how did you give me their starting point? Did you start as like a flagger and work your way up, or give me your awesome story to the top?
No, I actually went to school nearby the area that the company that produced our banners. So while I was going to school, I would work there on the weekends, and then that turned into working at the outdoors, hanging banners, and working on the track crew there, and then got in with Supercross, and I set up the paddock and parked the trucks and did those things, and I was the event manager for a while. Worked on Arena Cross for 4 or 5 years,
Yep.
around 2012, and then moved back over to Supercross.
Man,
So
you
I did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It was kind of in operations, but yeah, I got to see a lot of different parts of the business.
So a summer job got you kind of
the real deal.
in the industry.
You had to
That's why.
clean up all of Wes Kane's messes.
Yeah.
What a job that is.
Serious job.
That was full-time job
It's
right
like a
there.
30-man
I was just
crew.
West Kane's mess cleaner. Yeah, that was
Wes
my
Kane's
title.
mess cleaner.
Still is, man. His mom's like, here, he's yours, Mike. Take him.
Yeah.
What a good job to have. I love Wes Kane. Me and him have been friends since
Me too.
we announced Arena Cross in 05 and 06. And I can tell you what, that was 2 of the funnest years. We shared a room together, and
2 of the funnest decade years.
yeah,
that you-
dude, like dog years. It was like took
Yeah.
years off my life.
you looked a lot older after those 2, right?
I guarantee you.
It aged you.
So let's get back to Supercross. I want to know, day of, or when you guys are starting to roll out plastic, how does all that look? And are you guys way ahead of it? Man, we got to get this. Who warehouses all this plastic? And second question,
Do you know it's plastic? I mean, let's
Yeah,
hear what the floor is and then the layers and all that.
Yeah. So, I mean, a typical race weekend would start on Tuesday. Anaheim is like the first Anaheim, we have the ability to come in a little bit earlier, but basically, the crew cleaned up on Saturday night immediately after the event in San Diego. The weather kind of threw a wrench in this week, but they would have went straight to Anaheim, a rest day on Monday, and start loading in on Tuesday. So that's and then you build Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we try to be race ready by Friday for press day. When weather's coming like this, it's basically watching the forecast and making decisions based on that. And we got a great group of people with Dirtworks and Alex, kind of running the show with those guys, and our ops team. Everybody kind of comes together. We take a look at what our options are, what makes the most sense, and from a build timeline, and everybody knows that it's all hands on deck to get ready for Saturday. That's the most important thing, is that we're race ready by Saturday, and we'll adjust everything to get to that point.
Yeah. Speaking of Saturday, like you guys have been stressed on these last couple of rain events, man. Tell me, like, shortening practices, or are we cutting laps, like all that stuff? Who's making that call? Is that more of an AMA deal, or is that a collaborative effort between you, the team managers? How's that work?
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort. So there's no one single person, I would say, makes that decision. We've all done this for a lot of years, and everybody has input. So we take it really seriously. We don't ever want to cancel practice, especially a second session after running the first. But at the end of the day, we have to look at what's best for the main events. That's the points paying race, and that's what we got to build towards. So every decision we make is towards that end goal, and what's going to be the best, for the mains.
Do you tell those guys, like this past weekend, like, hey, you might want to go put your best face forward in this first one, because there is a potential for the second one to not even be there? Do they know that?
Yeah, and the teams and riders have all been around a long time too, so they kind of know what's coming and what to expect, and so each of them have their own game plans as well. They're looking at the same radar we are. They understand the implications that we're faced with. And so we don't per se go around and tell them, hey, there's a possibility we're going to cancel the second practice. Make sure you go fast in the first. That's kind of their decision and their race strategy. But as we lead up to that cancellation, we do check in with the teams and the athletes, and they'll reach out to us too, right? Like the phone works both ways. So, team managers will start reaching out, riders and giving their input, and we take all of that into consideration in the decision.
What about activations? I know there was some back and forth about, I can't remember what, Bobby Piazza or somebody, like revving their bike and not, following the proper channels to make that kind of stuff happen. Like, you can do stuff in the pits. You just got to kind of run it through you guys.
Yeah, you got to kind of be an approved vendor or something, right?
Something like that. You can explain it better than obviously we can.
Yeah, and we try to be as relaxed as possible. And I won't speak specifically to any incidents.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of factors to take into consideration. So first off, we're guests in the venue's house, so that's kind of first and foremost. If it's something against their policies, or state or local policies, then it's an absolute no-no. Then there's several other layers, of course, as well, and we've had people bring bands in and revving the bikes and things like that. We get complaints from the other teams and riders, and they don't want to go directly to the athlete themselves or to that other team themselves. That's where we come in as kind of the mediators, and we work with the AMA on that. So, there's no real one single answer. But yes, a lot of that does funnel through us, so that we make sure all the boxes are checked for all of the different stakeholders.
Yeah, I could imagine some of that is you've got some hot people on one line complaining, and then you've got to be nice but forceful on the other when you deliver the.
And then the end product is some cell phone footage of somebody getting shut down. It's like, well, there's probably more of a story.
Yeah, there's always more story, right?
So that's what I like to know. I just wanted to.
You could rev the bike for $20 or ride it for $50. You don't need guys riding around the pits like that.
No,
exactly.
I don't think that was an option.
You
But
just let fans ride your bike around the pits.
Man, take it for a lap.
Take it for a lap, dude.
I get 20 minutes, man. Take it off.
100. Yeah, I still got some time on my 20 minutes. $100, you can go for a lap.
Let's not do that. Holy cow!
Selling out their remaining time.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make the main, so I'm just going to sell my practice time. I made $6,000 letting other dummies ride my bike.
There's some dude in camouflage pants and a flannel shirt.
Hey, who allowed this? All right,
man. I used to race, by God, I know what I'm doing.
I don't want to give any more dumb ideas out. That's really
no
bad.
more dumb
ideas. I'm not gonna lie. You guys are giving me anxiety just from a venue GM calling me right now. They probably are going to start calling. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about venues. And dude, I know just the idea of locking down a venue and working around like a football program, a baseball program, all these other things that are what makes those places money. And I'm speaking specifically, for example, Mercedes-Benz Dome. Like for me, that place is home. That is East Coast Supercross. That is a huge draw. And for years, it was the biggest stop on the tour. Now it's not there. We were at a speedway, and now we're no longer there. Maybe you can speak to. You don't have to get into specifics because I don't want to put you on the spot. But like how it works and is
what's it like dealing with a building?
Yeah, Arthur Blank might not be into it. Like Arthur owns our stadium, so he's just like, I'm a clean freak. I don't need that dirt in here. We make plenty of money elsewhere. So you tell me how it works.
Well, I mean, there's a lot that's wrapped up to working with venues and scheduling, and I don't think people realize how busy stadiums really are, and finding dates isn't really that easy, especially dates that work for both our sport, other things that they have going on. So, I mean, it's no secret that we're mostly in baseball stadiums through this time of year, and then we can start moving to football stadiums later in the year. It's because no team is going to want to cancel or schedule an event against their NFL teams that could make the playoffs and they could have home field advantage. So that checks the boxes on a lot of the NFL stadiums earlier in the season. The other thing that we see is a lot of people saying, why don't you just go to all domes? Why don't you go to all domes? Well, we literally have lists of every single stadium, at least 98% of them in the country. And we take a look at those. There's really not that many domes. You start talking like a Buffalo, Pittsburgh, places like that. They don't have their open air. And then, so if we want to play like a Philly, for example, it's got to be late in the year. Well, there's only so many events that we can run late in the year like that. So, all of those things are kind of the starting point. And then, from there, it's what are the logistics? I tend to travel to quite a few events last year, most notably because of Philly and Birmingham, and checking them out and seeing, okay, is this going to work logistically? Do they have enough space for the pits? Do they not? All of those different types of things are weighed into the decision.
Yeah.
It's good to be like, if you want to come to Atlanta, because we never make the playoffs, so you can pretty much bank on the Falcons.
Like, which place has
the suckiest football team with it.
Yeah.
There's a good chance they're not going to make it.
So I probably shouldn't say this, but in Glendale one year, we played early in the year. I don't know if you remember. I think it was 2019. And they scheduled us, and we were going to have to move the date to Easter weekend if it didn't, if their team made the playoffs. Well, the team found out that they scheduled an event and they were essentially betting against the team, and that's never going to happen again there. So, they don't want to necessarily say, yeah, we don't think you guys are good enough to make it.
Wow. Yeah, Kyler Murray in his rookie year probably not going to make the playoffs, so we're gonna go with he'll be good here.
Right.
So that's good to know, man. I'm just like, all of my buddies and everybody in this area, we're like, why do we not have a race? And I know there were reasons beyond, my pay grade and everybody else's pay grade as to why we don't have one. Birmingham has one. That's not too terribly far from us, so we'll just have to migrate over there.
Yeah, no, we're excited about Birmingham. So that's a pretty new facility, an indoor pit option, which is nice. They're really excited to have us. So, that's going to be a good one.
Is there any, you guys, Feld is a complex company, I guess, in ways. I mean, you schedule a lot of entertainment probably in these same domes that aren't motorsport related, correct? I mean, you got concerts and stuff, or?
The majority of our stadium business is motorsports between Monster Jam and Supercross.
Okay.
In the arenas is where the
more
the other portions of
okay.
Yeah,
I was just wondering if ever you're dealing with one particular venue and the motorsports part leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Is there any chance that might compromise the other side of the business at Feld and start creating a little stress on that relationship with the building owner?
It absolutely does. And all of these venues work pretty closely together. So they know how we operate and they have a high trust level in what we do.
Yep.
And that if we tell them we're going to do something, we actually do it. So, our relationships with the venues are great. Now there's some that are very passionate about, their stadium, and they feel that it's baseball or football only, and that's all that's going to come in there. But by and large, everybody's pretty comfortable with our operation.
Yeah, you develop that track record, and it's safe. I can tell you on our end, Kevin has been sweating to death over who's scrubbing tough block covers.
Man,
he feels bad. He's
I
like,
stress
the dude's
over that.
got a family.
I owned a racetrack, so I think of like whenever our track had a mud race, I'm like the cleanup just on our end was like, good Lord.
Gnarly.
So I'm thinking about the 1,900 gallons of regular fuel and them little pressure washers and those poor little minimum wage dudes just out there scrubbing those things.
Because it's got to look perfect the next weekend,
man.
Right? I mean, you're still going to deliver the perfect product regardless of how hard last weekend was, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I can't say enough for how tough of people our Supercross operations team is. They're the folks that basically set everything up. And so everything you see on the floor, the tough blocks, the structures like the finish line and the manager's tower and the Goliath tower, all those things, they set all that up all throughout the week. Then during the race day, they're the ones that are assisting the riders and pointing the direction away from the rider when there's an incident. They're not the flaggers. They're the guys helping the riders get a bike off them or things like that. Immediately after the show, they start loading all that stuff up that they just spent all week putting in, putting it in. We have 20 tractor trailers that they pack it all in. About 5-6 hours later, they got everything off the floor, and then they bus it or fly to the next venue right away. They get a day, and Tuesday they're right back at it.
But
they'll do that 16 weeks straight.
That means 6 days a week is what I'm hearing. You're saying Monday's rest day. I didn't hear.
Yeah, and you don't
Monday and Tuesday.
The real secret is they actually haul all the jumps. Like the whoops go from round to round. That is
they're real hard to scoop up. They got a big spatula.
You got to mark it. Whoops dirt.
Yeah, I know it's
the
whole.
Dirt. There's an 18-wheeler marked.
The whole and if you open that door, you just see a whoops in the tractor trailer.
Yeah, all they do is just back up real fast and speed forward, and all the whoops come out.
Mike, you can tell that
that's awesome.
You might need a brain trust like Kevin has in your organization.
Yeah, to really think.
To know that
I don't know.
You just scoop up a whole section.
I don't know how you do it without him. I mean, hey, let's get them whoops loaded to that truck.
Right.
How did we get through the first 50 years without them? I really don't know.
Yeah, the whole track just snaps together, dude. That's the way we do it. Yeah. We got a series. We just take the same track with us all over Georgia, man.
You can make the turns go different ways, new layouts, but it does snap together each section.
Where's that finish line truck dump?
They're late. They're stuck in Biloxi.
The finish line dump truck.
Who brought the finish line dump truck? It's running late, boys.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, when these dudes, so their day on a Saturday, if you're telling me the race is over and they're yanking the product, the tough blocks and every ounce of structure
in the rain, in the mud,
regardless, it's coming off that night, right? And what kind of, I mean, is that a 22-hour day? What is Saturday for these guys?
It's a long day, yeah. So they literally pull everything out immediately after the event. And honestly, we've done it other ways where they actually, load out on Sunday, and it's tougher, right? Because no matter any way you shake it, Saturday's race
coming,
day, and
right?
it's a hectic day.
Yep.
Yeah, so when the race is over, like you have so much adrenaline after everything that you're good for a few hours. Where if you just go back to the hotel, you don't sleep for 3 or 4 hours, and then next thing you know, you got to get up and do it again. So it really works this way. And timing wise, the truck's got to get rolling, especially this weekend. Truck's got to move to Detroit, and they won't arrive with team drivers till late Tuesday night. So it already puts everything a little bit behind.
And hey, what better sponsor than to have that high test, 110 octane Monster Energy, just pallets of that shit.
Yeah.
Ready to go for them dudes to get through that.
Intravenous or liquid. You can choose.
Monster Energy IVs for everybody.
Whatever you want, boys.
Yeah. Do you guys have a set group of like local truckers for trucking dirt, or is the stadium say, hey, here's who we use? Like, who's choosing that?
So we have a team, the Feld Dirt Crew team, that actually coordinates the in and the out for the base and the dirt and all of that stuff.
So you are using a local.
Everything's local.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, everything except for Dirtworks, who actually sculpts the jumps, is pretty much local. You know, we send people in to oversee different aspects of it, but that's all local. Dirt stored local. You know.
And you're always running on rental tractors. I would assume, because Yancey Caterpillar would always have a huge presence at Atlanta, and you know, you go to other races and there's Thompson Caterpillar or whatever.
Yeah, the sheer quantity of equipment that we have to use because of all the different facets, you know, between the Fan Fest and you know, our structure builds and Dirtworks doing all their stuff. It'd probably be another 30-ish trailers, I would guesstimate, hauling that stuff around.
Yeah.
So that all has to be local.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, that'd be way expensive.
You'd have to buy a lot more or get a lot more Monster Energy drinks for those guys.
Yeah,
too.
that'd be even more monster for these dudes.
I think you probably don't even let them drink them. Like, he just sits up there with a tranquilizer gun with the darts.
Monster Energy tranquilizer dart?
Yeah,
Tommy's getting a little slow here.
Yeah, you see somebody slowing down, you just hit him with a monster dart.
Yeah, you
Bust
got
him with a
Barry
dart.
Pepper up in the top of the shooting, like in
Seriously,
Saving
Mike, you
Private
can use
Ryan.
these ideas if you need to. I mean,
we're full of good stuff, man.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
ideas.
I'm writing it all down, guys.
Yeah.
I knew. I told you he'd
Just
take
make
notes.
it through the next 50 years, man.
Stuff will never ever do. Don't ever do. Hey,
Keep working.
talk about the like what Supercross looked like. We were just talking about this with my buddy Weigandt. Like the Meadowlands Supercross from like 80 whatever looks like a trash dump. There's trash blowing across the track, and it's just a wild display of people running. Like, it's so much tighter now. The way
Kevin
you guys,
was very concerned about the number of people on the floor of the Supercross at the Meadowlands in '83.
yeah, it's comical, man.
He's like, dude, there's 400 people out
there's
there
so
like,
many,
cheering for people.
And I feel like that was a VIP experience. Like, hey, man, another $100, you can be on the floor with these dudes. Like, I would too.
Anything to get
Oh,
cash.
no. Man, even more anxiety you're giving me here, Kevin, between that and the GM's calling, man.
Yep.
God, he's bad for everything.
It's good stuff, man. Yeah, I'm just telling you what to avoid. Like, hey, man, here's a good idea. Like, no, not 1,000 extra spectators.
Well, he was kind of trying to talk about, man, now
how tight the show
it
is.
is professional.
Yeah.
I mean, dudes have matching team shirts,
Button-up shirts, like.
Yeah, it's credentials only.
Like when my brother raced Supercross, like you could pretty much, like I could sign up. You could just sign up for a pro license, show up. There's a guy, I'm not going to say his name. It's a local dude, weighed about 118 pounds.
We had a couple guys.
And Ricky Lamb, God rest his soul, was one of them. He's about 6'7", 48 years old, on a CR 500 every year. We try to race Supercross, and we would go there early to watch them practice because it was awesome.
Because it was the
They
funniest
couldn't jump
thing.
anything. They would crash in the whoops when they're rolling the whoops, and now it's just, you guys obviously have a much tighter program. Like even the Futures program, everything about Supercross is streamlined.
Yeah, no, appreciate that, and I was going to bring that up. The SMX Next program, we're really excited about. You know, outdoors doing the Moto Combine, Supercross Futures. You know, we've really tried to take a focus on you know, these guys before they become professionals, because by the time, you know, they're racing against seasoned 250 SX riders, you know, it's too late. So. Giving them an opportunity on the tracks earlier and kind of learning the flow of Supercross. You guys have all been to a race and know how busy and fast the day moves. Trying to give them that experience so that when they do enter the full pro ranks, it's not so crazy for them, you know. So yeah, you know, in all areas, all of the different departments at Feld and AMA and everybody have really been working hard to present Supercross in the professional light it deserves.
I would say you've accomplished that.
Yeah, those combine days are awesome. The way they everything's timed out, it's scripted. It's very similar to a regular outdoor national in terms of the timing, how long
Timing
you get,
is
and how rapid fire, and having Christina Denny do all the help with the media. It's very busy. It's just to acclimate them to that whole deal. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
So
to
you
watch.
called that program, Mike, SMX Next?
Yeah, that's the collective of all three.
Okay.
So that's Supercross Futures, and then you have the Moto Combines at the outdoors, and then you have our amateur events, the Amateur All Stars that coincide with the World Championships. But yeah, and I got to give all the credit to Carrie and her team on the Moto Combines, because those are awesome, and we're really a lot of the catalysts for the Futures program. On Fridays, taking a page out of their book, like this weekend, Eli's going to come talk to all the athletes, and we're going to have, Doc Bodner come and talk, and Jimmy and some of our staff to show faces, make sure they understand how the program works, who Alpine Stars is. Eli's going to talk about what his experience was now that, he's towards the twilight, for lack of better words, and what to expect as an amateur making the transition. So, all of that stuff is hopefully going to benefit these guys in the long run.
Yeah, man. We talked to guys like, I was around and was friends with dudes that were on their way up and about to turn pro, some of our local guys. And dude, the abyss of the sea of abyss that was Supercross and what was known about it. Like our buddy Sean Dukes, for example, turned pro in '89. Dude, it was jumping off the deepest diving board into the unknown. There was nothing they knew. There was no MTF, no training facilities, none of this stuff. So I just have mad respect for the dudes that just said, "Oh well, here we go. Let's see what this is all about."
Learn a Supercross track.
Send it,
dude. Yeah, like the races they were on maybe a few times a year. Loretta's was a black hole of information. Nobody knew anything about it, so you went there blind. Like it was so much just flying by the seat of your pants. And now these kids come out, dude. When they're 8, they've watched Loretta's. Like you can watch it live all week long. You can go down to MTF and get locked in there, and then run through all these other programs. I mean, geez, what a
well, then when you go back prior to '85, if you wanted to try Supercross, you had to do it against the big boys on a 250.
And you had to go to the track. You didn't just go, "Hey man, it's a chicken finger motocross.
Y'all
we got a good set of whoops
day
over there." Like, man, there's nothing like it.
There's nothing. Man. And now, these dudes, a lot of these training facilities keep a dialed in Supercross track that they can just, they can rotate some potential.
Dan Truman just
into
posted what 402 MX did for them, matching Supercross tracks. MTF has one, GPF has one. Club has
Monster
one.
Mountain just built one.
Monster Mountain has one. You're right. I mean, that's just here on the East Coast. Move out to Texas. I'm sure they've got them out there, and of course out your way. So, geez, man, it's remarkable just how everything's grown. Every possible segment of the sport.
Well, it makes sense now how they do that, since we know that the whoops, like just the whoops get
you
loaded.
just order an extra set of whoops
just
and
get
have
an
it
extra
sent
set
to
of
Monster.
whoops.
I can't imagine how busy Jason Baker is.
Yeah,
I got 9 sets of whoops going out this week, boys.
Yes,
let's get on these things
in the factory crafting.
I got
them.
whoops going out.
Yeah,
order up 2 sets of whoops. Let's get them out here, boys.
Mike, we're sitting here naming everything like all these tracks or all these facilities that have Supercross tracks, and it's so specialized, but yet in the same vein, you just said, hey, we work with the moto promoters and then now SMX promoters. Do you always see it always being a conglomeration of moto, Supercross, and super motocross? Or do you see that all Supercross becoming so specialized that it sort of becomes its own sport that might not always have the same competitor list? I don't know if that's a.
I don't think he's going to give you a good answer on this. I think they need this partnership.
I think they need it too. Motorcycle sales needs the partnership.
Yeah,
I know for a fact. Moto fans buy things,
right?
And Supercross guys might be people who wanted to go to the stadium that night.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm following the question, but I can tell you over the past few years that we've been working in conjunction with MX Sports, it's been phenomenal to change just overall in mindset between our organizations. I think the paddock, is in a much better spot than it's ever been. The sport, Supercross and motocross, so super motocross, is just in a great space right now. And it comes, in my opinion, it comes as a result of that collaboration between all of the entities involved.
Yeah.
And you know, I see the Super Motocross World Championship continuing to grow, and being, you know, the premier world championship in the world. And I think, you know, we'll be announcing another month or so where those 3 rounds will be. I think the ones that you saw last year were pretty cool, unique tracks, and we'll continue to do that. And so we're in a great spot. And you know, collectively, I think I can speak for all parties. We're excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah. Well, I asked that. I mean, there's obviously ebbs and flows in the sport. I mean, there was a moment where they would never even mention the motocross series on TV.
That's over.
They'd say,
all
see you in
done.
Anaheim, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey man, the motocross starts in like 2 weeks.
And Mike, you can speak to this, and I know I'm buddies with a bunch of people that have talked about this, and it was like this impending doom, like Supercross is going to take over, and we're going to end motocross.
That's kind of where I was.
Yeah,
heading
we're
with
going to
that
have 42
question.
rounds of Supercross and screw moto, and I thank God that didn't happen. I didn't ever think it would happen. I think the powers that be, like you said, Kerry Joe and Davey and their brain trusts are too smart to let that happen, and I think you guys are too. And the FIM throwing their wrench into all of it could have gotten all messy. So,
Yeah.
man, you guys saved it for us for sure.
She disconnected from the board somehow. You might can just stick it up there to the mic. Because I really want to know what he's saying. We're just, you know,
Looking back, why was there that awkwardness? I don't know, but you know, looking ahead, it's a bright future.
Ask him why we lost Atlanta to Birmingham.
I mean, hey, so can you speak specifically as to how Atlanta was not included on this year's? Was it just a scheduling thing, or how did that work out?
No, so you've seen us do it in East Rutherford and Foxborough. You know, we've moved to Denver. We really want to expand the series. So Supercross is 17 rounds, and will end in early May. So to expand the sport means we have to pull from one market and go to another.
Hit another market.
To let the locals in that market experience Supercross. And really, that's what it comes down to. We wanted to try Birmingham. You know, our data tells us that's a good place to be, and you know, it's a good venue. It's a new venue, and you know, everything kind of aligned.
It's exposure.
There you go.
Building
We thought it was probably just too much stuff got stolen in Atlanta.
Yeah, he can't.
It does get a little rowdy here, but not so much in your pits. But I will say this: back when it was at Fulton County, it was pretty
Stuff
wild.
got
I
stolen.
watched people try to get bikes stolen, and they could just get into the pits. And now, of course, you fix that. Thank goodness. But Mike, I'm having some issues with my phone. I'm going to probably throw it across the room here as soon as we get off with you. But I wanted to say thanks for carving out some time and putting up with our dumb selves here. We appreciate it.
No, thank you guys. I took a lot of notes on what not to do, and I will enact those moving forward. And it was good talking.
Awesome. Mike Muye, man, we look forward to seeing you at some point, and have a good evening, and take those dogs out for a walk, and tell Sean we said hello, and take him for a walk too.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you, brother.
All right, see you, man.
See ya.
Bye.
Kevin's having to.
Welcome to the program, Jason Weigandt. You are the first returning guest, with the exception of Ricky Carmichael. So it's rare air, brother.
I mean, that's kind of how it works. It's basically been Ricky does something and I do the exact same, you know, kind of at each other's throats, pretty much equals.
You're always
in every
aiming
way.
for his
Whoa,
record. You're
equals
like,
in every way.
he's like, I got to get to
Yeah,
Ricky's
I mean,
record.
I mean, he's slightly ahead of me, but it's always been a battle. I
Yin
feel.
yang, dude. I mean,
he knows, and
yep.
he knows
Yep.
it.
But it's only a matter of time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been putting the pressure on for years now.
It's your
for
time.
decades.
It's your time.
He
Would you
looks
say
nervous
that's
every
just
time we see him.
Yeah, it's just because you want it so bad. You think, Weege, is that what drives you?
It's not talent, man. It's just hard work.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. You got to want
It's
it.
that easy.
They tell me all the time, you
Yeah.
got to want it.
You got to.
Yeah, John's.
How bad do you want it?
Nick's been the employee of the month, 9 straight months. We started in April. Nick's won it every month, and John's like, "How do I crack the code?" And Nick just like, "You got to want it."
Kevin burns his house down, and I provide an alternate location to to film the podcast.
Yep.
That wasn't enough.
You got to put in the work.
I was early for 9 months.
Was the show shot in your house also?
It was shot at my house. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you lost that too. You also lost the place where you shoot the show as well as your house.
Yep.
Yes.
And we had
Jason,
just brought some fresh decorations
they had just
in the house.
They had just dropped money on all these chairs. What helmets did you bring over?
Had a bunch of custom painted helmets from the 70s.
Stop it.
No,
that
that's
were
the truth.
signed, had 1 million autographs. They were cool.
Literally just that night.
I almost left 2 Honda 50s
Yes.
in there we were going to sit those in the background of the shot. And I'm so thankful I didn't leave them because I guarantee you Kevin's wife would have been like, those motorcycles burn the house down.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
they
true.
have
With
gas
the gas tanks
tanks.
full.
Yeah. No, they were not full, but she would assume they were if her house is gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the arson investigator would have been like, "That's the problem.
God dang,
no
keeping
insurance for
motorcycles
you."
on the house.
Right.
Oh God, I didn't even think
You
about
defrauded the insurance. So
God, what if I owe Kevin $750,000 or whatever? You know, it's like, hey man, you screwed him. You put those mini bikes upstairs.
Yeah, my insurance canceled.
thanks, bud.
They denied the claim.
Kevin
over
was
the
eventually getting a little
250s.
too. The roller coaster was going too high.
Yes.
It was going too well for too long.
Yeah.
And like all roller coasters,
What comes up must come
eventually you're
down,
like,
baby.
oh, what's
Well,
gonna happen?
When you get too cocky.
Yeah, that's been the running joke. Is I brought down massive companies. Everything I've ever been involved with,
it's not that.
I brought things down.
It's not you.
What is it?
It's the damn KD80.
They think everything negative in my life revolves around my dad and me riding a gay D80.
That started there.
It just set you up for failure.
Everything goes back
The motorcycle left a legacy on his life
of gayness.
His two brothers had KX80s.
We called them K-Sex 80s.
Yeah, K-Sex 80 and a gay D80.
And I had a gay D80. They had K-Sex 80s.
What's up?
That thing's been like that thing puts you in like your life like
Out of your backpack.
Christine the car, like in the
Yes.
you're gonna have this KD80 follow
It's going to be
you around.
laughing at him from the other side of the room.
Yeah.
We often like explored an alternate universe, Weege, where Kevin did have a KD80, a gay D80, and in his alternate life, it's running parallel with Ricky Johnson's life, and Kevin became the Gay MA Supercross champ. And he won all the races on the Gay MA Supercross Tour and Gay MA Motocross.
And I go to Gay in the Dirt every year.
He
It's just
races
awesome.
at Gay in the Dirt, and he's just like the RJ.
But I'm the
But
gay.
in
It's
an-
the R gay.
I'm R gay.
He's like R. Gay Johnson. He's R. Gay Johnson.
This is hard hitting news,
Dude,
dude.
that is.
Sliding doors. This is a sliding doors thing. There's a universe out there.
Yes.
Yes, where you're maybe not California, so maybe you're Ezra Lusk or somebody
maybe
like that.
Pensacola,
It'd be hard to
Florida.
replace a guy from a completely different state, but
Yeah.
I will say that, Kawasaki's slogan, I think the KXs, they say, are the bikes that build champions. So I
Yes.
guess it does not include only the KXs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Not the gay D80.
The KD builds.
That does not
gays.
build champions.
No.
Back then, their slogan for the
Here it comes.
gay D80 was, "If you want to always keep your son a virgin."
Yes.
Stupid, man.
Stop teenage pregnancy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Buy
if I-
a KD80.
So if you're a dad and I rolled up on that, oh, we're good. Go ahead. Stay
yeah,
out
you
till
can
2
date
in
my
the morning.
daughter. I don't care where you take her.
Keep
Nope.
her all weekend. She's safe.
No problem. No problem. So we have Jason Weigandt on the program. Jason, are you at baseball practice or did it get canceled or what?
No, we're here. We're at an indoor facility, so we go rain or shine, boys.
Oh, you're
Oh,
batting.
dang.
You're slinging
The
pitches
dome.
and batting
You're in
and
the
everything.
dome. You're in the
Indoor
baseball
facility.
dome.
Sorry, I had to drop off a water bottle. Now we're back outside. Yep. So, 24/7, 365 days a year, pitchers and catchers will report.
Yeah.
Are we pitching this year? He's a lefty, right?
Pitching's been pretty rough, not going to lie.
Okay. Having some
You have to
control
throw
issues?
Strikes. A lot of control. I mean, there already were many control issues in my life, and now we just added some more.
I can't
Wow,
control
dang.
his lack of control. But dude, don't give up on it though.
Is
man.
this first year of kid pitch?
No, he's been travel. He's done it for a while.
I know, but there's a certain age.
No, it was first year of Kid Pitch.
Okay.
It was literally Kid Pitch started in September.
That's
And
the
where are we
only
at?
slow
January now?
year. After that, next year's great.
Long term, I'm not worried. I just
Okay.
got to make sure he doesn't
lose
think
confidence.
that he's, like, oh, I can't do it. And I'll be like, dude, you're not.
His house
Like,
will burn down.
Dude,
2 years from now, you might be fine. So
Yeah,
just keep doing it.
let me just tell you, my son Riley was deadly. Like he struck out, I don't know what, the 27 batters in 2 games because he just threw strikes. It wasn't because he was incredible, but I mean, he just threw strikes and they just couldn't swing. They would close their eyes and whatever. So that goes away. Like, yes. I promise you it goes away. And those kids, like he can find that. Like Riley was the one kid out of 8 pitchers they had that could throw strikes.
Okay.
And the first year.
So it made him successful.
Yeah, early on, but everybody else catches up. Like
you either need to throw strikes or give concussions.
One of the two. And they work the same.
You knock out some batters.
They're scared as hell.
They're scared to go to bat.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you can throw lollipops after that.
He knocked the first 3 kids out.
They don't want nothing to do with this guy.
Everything I'm trying to do here is just to make sure that he just keeps playing because everything will work itself out.
Correct.
You just don't want any over analysis or over dramatics or overthinking that. And I think we can all think back to when we were kids and thinking like every one thing that happened was like super duper important. And now you realize it's pretty much a joke.
Yes.
So just trying not to have him. Yeah, when he goes to the mound and he can't throw a strike, I don't want him to think like, well, that's it.
It's over.
That's it for life.
Well, you should just go
I'll never throw a strike.
You should go all mini dad on him every time he throws a pitch. Come on, what are you doing? Like screaming, running up down.
So, Jason, you don't have this in North Carolina because here in Georgia, man, when it's little league time, these coaches will sit out there with these heartfelt speeches like, boys, if there's ever going to be a moment in your life, this is it. And if you was ever going to perform, this is the night. If I was ever going to get the... I'm talking
your family's dependent on you.
These kids, they just freaking glaze over, dude. But I'm telling you, in our little hick town right here, that's what I saw. I saw these coaches like it was their time to shine. You don't have that?
And then as a parent, you got to go, don't listen to that idiot.
What actually makes it better, oddly, is getting to the travel level, which is kind of the higher level compared to like rec ball, where it's like the dad's coaching.
Yeah.
And I think it actually gets rid of that part.
Okay.
Because everybody that's a coach here, these guys all played through college. So his coaches are like, yeah, dude, it's 9U. We're not going to lose sleep over this. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Really, none of you are going to be MLB. None of it really matters that much. It definitely doesn't matter right now. These guys, these coaches all have the perspective of, I remember when I was 9, that was 15 years of this baseball ago. None of it is that important. None of these games are going to change our lives, their lives, my life. They're like, the goal is hopefully these kids are good enough to get on their high school team and they have a good time and whatever they want to do after that, if they want to keep playing or not, go ahead. I think when you're in the regular league where it's the dad coaches, they probably do think that it's the most important thing. And for memory's sake, maybe it is an unbelievable memory in their life if they win a local championship with their kid on the team. But for these coaches, it's just like, it's just 9U, man. It's just 9U.
I think that's healthier.
And they're good enough to know that once they get to be 11 or 12, 13, either you got it or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. Yep. You're not going to develop it. Like you have to have a arm or feet or legs kissed by God.
Yeah.
To, you know what I mean? Like
because there's very few.
You got a better chance of getting struck by lightning. Than
which we just.
It's really any sport is like that, right?
Yeah.
So, you just keep it realistic. And what I heard is, once they turn, I think and I know people are here for the baseball talk.
Yeah, 100%.
Once they're 13 and you go to 90-foot base paths and you're playing against 15-year-olds who can really throw hard, that's when you start having a lot of kids be like, okay,
I'm good.
I'm out.
I'm playing lacrosse now.
Yeah. So this is 9 years old. It's like you'll get to the critical junctures in your baseball life later, but this is not it.
This is
so
not
just
it.
Have fun and just keep practicing 2 days a week. And if it works out, it works out.
Yeah, I think you're doing it right, man. Just make him not hate it and not get stressed out. And whenever he gets to that point where he's good enough or not good enough, he can make that choice, not be forced out of it because you made it so damn miserable.
You're doing it all wrong. You should pull him out of school and put him in a baseball facility.
They got They got those.
With homeschooling.
Out in the middle of the country and let him live in a camper by himself.
Dude, Josh Woods, there's a farm. There's places. Josh Woods' brother-in-law runs a place. I believe it is up it's either your way or in Florida. And it might be the Florida baseball camp or something like that. Yeah, they do full time, whatever. There's a guy that
I should have known.
$5,000 a week. Yeah, it's $5,000 for a pitching clinic where he guarantees like
a facility where they live and we're paying $5,000.
They do. No, they have a house and the whole deal where you can stay at this house and they work out, they do it. It's outrageous for the week. But this guy guarantees like 10 mile per hour in your velocity.
Is it too early for steroids for your kid, or they have to?
I think so. Get it on there.
think
Get that
any kind
muscle
of
on there
PEDs?
early.
Yeah, I think you should go ahead. Like next
we
year,
gotta
you
get
know,
some
next
facial
year
hair.
have a full.
Yeah.
Like he comes in with a full beard, talking about what's up, Dad.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Get enough problems with things are hurting all the time due to growth plate growing pain issues. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh boy, that's another one.
Steroids would fix that. Besides, you have to buy them.
Maybe it would. Maybe it
Yeah.
would. Let's finish this. Let's finish this growing thing off real quick.
Nick was so confident. Yeah, steroids will fix that.
They
He
will.
sounded just like a medical
That's
doctor.
right. You know, it's all. I'm a doctor, man. Just like
Balco.
that. Yeah.
Whatever that Balco.
Balco, yeah.
that,
Balco.
It'll fix all those
Balco.
pains. You'll just-
Balky, right? No, what was it?
Balco.
Balco, yeah.
But you'll have to buy him a Camaro next year if you buy.
Oh, yeah, he definitely
Yeah,
needs
and a
Camaro.
bigger hat.
Yeah.
Yes, his head is going to get large.
So Jason, let's honestly talk a little bit about the racing, because like as we were watching the race and texting while you're working, I don't know how you do that, which is amazing. I'm like, dude, he's texting while he's literally
it's
on camera.
impossible.
Basically,
I don't even know how. I
But
can't even walk and choo and go.
this last weekend was epic, like in terms of storylines, and
Yeah.
you get to announce your first behind the desk, be the guy this weekend, and man,
That's true.
were you gifted just pick a storyline,
yeah,
bro.
lots of storylines.
I honestly didn't know it was going this direction. I knew I would start at round 4, and after round 1, I was like, "Oh man, it might be extinguished," because we know how these seasons go, right? Every season starts off epic, and sometimes it's pretty good all the way to the end and pretty compelling, but it's never
Usually
as crazy
not.
as it is in the first couple rounds.
Yep.
So I'm like, "Oh man, are we even going to get to round 4 with this level of drama?" I did not think that it would actually ramp up, where we probably have more stories and things to talk about going into round 4 than even round 1, I would say.
Oh, there's no questions have been answered.
This one was incredible. Yeah, this is blows round one away.
We still don't know what the hell's going on other than
No.
the drama.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
forgetting the
that's true.
winners drama, all the other drama, and we still don't know who's fast.
And you got Plessinger with a red plate. And
Oh,
it's like,
so
man,
much.
who called that? You know?
Yeah, he's like page 5 in the news. Whatever. He should be the front page.
Yeah. I am a little sad for him for that it got overshadowed. But he's right. We didn't have drama at round 1. We don't know who's going to win. Now we don't know who's going to win and drama.
Yeah.
And it's really careful to, it's a really thin line of like, okay, we know that a lot of the drama this week turned out to be on social media. And to me, in and of itself, like, social media is not what you're there to cover. You're there to cover the racing.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason it becomes compelling is we know who's involved here. It's Jason Anderson. You can't completely rule out that this could spill over to the racetrack. So it is part of the story. It's definitely not the main thing. I mean, we're not coming in hot saying breaking news. Look at what happened on Instagram. I mean, the story is Plessinger is the points leader, or 3 different winners in 3 weeks, or we had 2 mud races and we don't even know where we stand. The story is the racing, but this social media thing, I think that's why it's so incendiary, because it's like, oh, dude, this could easily fester into something that happens on the track.
I mean, we just don't see it as much in our sport, but dude, it's been a thing for 10 years now on Twitter in terms of like KD and his burner phone and all the other things that have happened in professional basketball and football. Like, it is a thing, and they do address it on ESPN. Maybe not during a football game per se, but it gets some coverage for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, we don't want to go too nuts and make it seem like we're just the gossip page. But yeah, if it potentially is going to, lead to the racetrack, it's a real topic. But I think what you're really seeing here, the reason this is so big, I mean, look, any of the things Jed has been involved in, I don't think in and amongst themselves are really a big deal at all. I was been saying, like, dude, a lot of this is nothing burger. The reason that this is so incendiary and people are piling on and every single person has an opinion is because he has just become a polarizing figure in general. So anything he does is just getting blown up, and it's in all directions. He's already reached that love or hate level that every person that reaches the top for the first time gets.
3 rounds in.
3 rounds in. But I mean, look, Carmichael went from being the same exact person, loved, then hated, then loved, in like a 5-year span. And James Stewart, I'm sure, was like, the same people that loved me last year are booing me now. Mm-hmm. I'm at the same stadium. I'm at the same podium at Redbud. What happened? So the magnifier just comes out, and everything you say is interpreted the way people. I always say, they already have the opinion, and then they just look for evidence to back that up. And if you decided this is too much too soon, you're going to try to find something to prove yourself right. And this is yet another thing that backs that up. It's kind of unfortunate the world works that way, that we come up with opinions first and find evidence to back it up second. But that's the reason this is such a big deal. Like, if it's any other two riders, is this as big a deal?
Yeah.
And hey, break down, like, let's just get down to forget what happened after the race.
Yeah.
The actual incident of them kind of doing their thing. I have no problem with what Jet and Jason were doing. Jason was just trying to beat Jet Lawrence, whatever way possible. I don't care what he was doing.
Kind of slow.
He was slow, but I mean, what do you want him to pull over?
No, I don't
Hell
want him
no.
to pull over. And
that's what I'm saying. That was exactly. So what happened on that racetrack?
And it's not like Jason Anderson has a history of being easy to pass.
No, he's tough.
Yeah, the 21 and the 51
Justin Barsha
are
is tough to pass.
Yes.
I mean,
Good luck. You ain't even dealt with him yet, Jet. Like that guy's going to be a problem too. He's not going to give it to you. Like so, I in terms of what happened on the track, awesome. What happened between Cooper and Sexton, whatever. Like it's just racing shit to me. It's not, and it just happens to be where social media kind of takes over.
Social media sort of
whatever
pours gas on all
for
that,
sure,
right?
But like, what do you think in terms of what happened on the track? It was just that's racing. You're not going to let the guy by, right?
All of it is, even what happened after the race and the yelling at each other and grabbing each other's helmets. If it's not the already polarizing figure of Jet Lawrence, this would be 80% less of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
What Anderson did in the track would be 80% less of a deal. Those two yelling at each other after the race would be less of a deal. If it is, just pick any other two guys.
You're right.
If that was
because Cooper and Sexton
that was
didn't
Tomac
get
and Barsha
nearly
for
the
no,
news.
No, if that was Tomac and Barsha for the 100th time,
Yeah.
we'd all watch the clip. Everybody would break it down. Everyone would say, "Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. These guys still going at it like that," and we would move on. It would not be cracks being found in the foundation of the earth. If it was any other person involved except Jet Lawrence, that's just where he is now, where everybody has an opinion on him, and they either love him or they hate him. And this is the same thing to prove it's not his fault. I've seen 5 other guys go through this exact same thing. And by the way, it'll be hilarious 4 years from now when Hayden Deegan moves into the class.
Oh, it's going
and everybody's
to start over, right?
Hey, rich entitled rookie, welcome to the 450 class. Jet's old school. He's going to show you how men do it. And I'll be like, bro, you just said the exact same thing about Jet.
Old school.
4 years ago.
Great,
Yeah,
man.
but like let's just dissect that a little further because he has a following that is not as savvy or educated in the world.
Deegan.
They are
following.
You talk about blind following. They have cancel culture power over there,
Yes.
like that number of people. And he's not even where he's
And
going to
they're
be.
not truly moto fans.
No, they're dumb
just
as hell.
somehow
They're not.
These clowns.
A lot of them are not.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool because this is what we've all been asking for.
Yeah, for
Credit
sure.
to the Deegans.
Let's
They
expose
actually,
it, yeah.
But it's coming.
they did grow the sport. They 100% did, yes. But it comes with some side effects of like things that we've seen 100 times. We're like, no, that's cool, or that's not cool, or that's normal, or that's not
And
normal.
they're going to think it's...
You could just tell these people do not know.
Yeah.
No, they'll be sitting in on the start. They'll be literally having sit-ins on the start, like get off the gate. We got or they'll glue themselves to his motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's what we're in for.
You're right, though. It's what we asked for. We want to grow the sport.
Yeah.
And you got to
And that means outside eyeballs,
You
right?
got to get those, it's what we, it's not going to be our little boutique
Core
sport where
group.
everybody,
Yeah.
gets in.
Yeah, it's true.
And there will be people watch the race this weekend for what they saw at the end of the race.
Oh, 100%. You remember NASCAR in 81 whenever they had that fist fight that catapulted NASCAR into the forefront of sports? Like,
Yeah.
don't tell me, like, I'm not sure where Feld is, and Jason, you can probably speak to this. Like, they've showed that fist fight with Freeze and Pike. It's gotten miles
Well, and remember
miles.
Mellon came across the finish line, and there was like some kind of brawl going on.
Rick Mellon.
Yeah, Rick Mellon.
Oh,
when he
Oh,
came
Dallas
across...
Supercross
That was a
86,
big
yeah.
fight.
So it's
And
good.
that was at Houston.
Yeah.
Dallas, bro.
Oh,
Dallas. Yeah, I knew it was Texas.
That was at Supercross.
That
Yeah.
was at Supercross.
The
At
Supercross.
Supercross.
Hey,
It's in a movie. Has to be true.
It's got to be true.
tell Weigandt about Bailey describing some race for like.
Oh, well, we started talking, and if you want to mess with this, you feel free. But we just started talking like we got to integrate Rick and Bad Billy into your old discussions of races. And he goes, "Oh, I can do that." Like, so we're just kind of casually going through our interview, and next thing you know, he's like, "And dude, it was just one of those days where Rick, he just had it, man. I could not get around Rick."
Yeah,
And
Mellon was on the
Mellon
gas.
was on it. Yeah. It was one of those GFI races in the winter, and I just could not beat this guy. And I'm like, "This is his shit."
He did it twice.
He did it so
Another time he's like,
casually,
Glover
as you would
got me.
imagine.
Then Mellon came
That
by.
is so great.
Yeah, he was just
He didn't even
dazzled.
laugh or anything.
No, he was
just did it.
deadpan and like brought it in.
Oh my gosh. That is a brilliant idea. Just be like, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was like me, Johnny, Brock,
Mellon.
Bad Billy, and I think Goat Wrecker. It was all of us.
We're at a
You're like,
Shoney's.
what?
We kind of need you to do that too, Jason.
And that blonde skank that we all hated her, and she pops in. And we're like,
Blonde skip. That's Judy McCormick.
Yeah,
is
Judy
the
was
other
there.
one.
Yeah, the twins.
The
like,
Yep.
no, they're from
We're
We're gonna
Rats.
throw that in too. Like we all remember the Mercedes Gonzalez and Judy McCormick duels.
McCormick.
I mean, they were
Oh,
classic.
the
Up in the
Judy
hills?
McCormick duels.
The Spill Hills duels, dude.
The McCormick Gonzalez duels.
We need you to do that on TV, Jason.
Yeah, we need you to do
Could
that.
you imagine
Okay,
he
I'll
throws
reference.
in?
I'm sure there's pressure, but like Bad Billy, like how do you squeeze that in? Like,
Bad Billy's kind of
Bad
hard.
Billy,
You gotta
Lemon.
go
Rick
Rick
Mellon's a
Mellon.
lot easier to get in than Bad Billy, for sure.
You can do that on race
I will
day.
be in the booth for the Dallas race, so maybe we'll just talk about that infamous
I
moment.
think maybe that's a definitely worthy during race day.
That's
Race
a
day live,
location.
you could get away
Oh,
with it.
for sure. That's really the goal.
I'll
That's
say
definitely
this.
the goal to confuse fans completely.
What
Yes.
happened? There was a fight here in '86. I've never seen
And
the
a guy
footage
named
of it.
Bear was throwing people off the
they're-
finish line jump.
Yeah, man, that hotel used to be popping, dude. The night before.
I was thinking about that the race
talking
this
a big
weekend, and
brawl.
when Ricky said something about he had a bad night. Obviously, I think his name's Jared Stapleton. He's the kid, and he's a 250 guy. And I
Yeah.
don't know, he went to
Jaron Stapleton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jaron
Jared,
Stapleton.
JJ
Yeah.
Ron,
Jared.
Okay, J. Ron.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is.
J-Ron.
And you got to beat.
Aaron.
Yeah,
Yes.
his cousin.
Aaron's our points leader. Aaron.
Listen, you're going to have to beat Stewart or Carmichael to this, because I know when that kid gets better and he does one thing, one of them's going to be like, and there's Stapleton coming through the woods, smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Like,
Oh, you're exactly right.
There
That's
you
going
know,
to be the line.
I can hear it from
dude.
one of them now.
Neck
You're just
burn,
German chocolate.
dude. But Bailey was talking about from that night. He went into the day that they were filming for the
Winners
Winner
take,
Take
all.
All. And Rick Johnson called him and goes, "Hey, man, they're filming this race if you want to kind of come check it out." So he goes, "Yeah, me and my dad popped over." And next thing you know, I'm giving them guidance of how to set up the segment. And then my dad runs back and gets me the bike. And Rick was really cool. Rick Mellon was awesome. And he goes, if you go back and look at footage from the race, Rick was all in every shot. Like literally him and Bailey were buddies that night. He's like, Bailey won. And he's like, yeah. And he's like side by side
Rick
with David
Mellon.
Bailey.
Is cheering on David.
Yeah, he's in the podium shots.
Oh,
For real.
and this is what you say, like middle of the night, like after the race.
No, I'm saying they filmed some of the Winners Take
Winners
All
Take
during
All
the day
on race day.
on race day, like that morning.
Oh, geez.
So then David comes
Wow.
over, kind of helps them out, and then they come back, and David
Yeah.
races that night. And Rick and all the people hang out. The
They
Winners
stayed.
Take Y'all
Yeah,
people
the
hang out,
cast
watch the
stayed.
race. They're on the floor when he wins. He goes, you can see him huddled up next to me in some of the shots after the
wow.
race on the podium. I'm like, see, I never heard of
We
that.
really need to check this.
Yeah, I want. I
It'd
haven't
be fun
seen
to
it.
see.
Who won, Bailey or Johnson? Who
Bailey
that one?
won
Bailey won the actual Dallas
the actual
Supercross
race
that year.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is for one night only. Those ghosts walked amongst them. These characters were there.
Rick Mellon was next to
One
David
night.
Bailey, like a goggle guy.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. You don't have that every day. Movie stars, man.
So
Thank
we,
you.
That is pretty cool.
you're going to get a dry race to actually call too. So my favorite, as we've gone at ad nauseum in our little text thread, I'm like, dude, shoot me if I have to see another mud race. I will say,
Are you guys surprised? Kevin is core moto guy.
Oh,
Owned tracks,
yes.
announced tracks, grew up right. I am shocked.
I know.
I mean, his
that's progressive.
vehement hatred for mud races is like he is just a downer. Like he is his own
He is
cloud.
leading the
He just
charge
comes in
for
Saturday
domed
morning.
stadiums only.
What is wrong with it? Why does he hate it so
I don't
much?
know. And I can tell you, I've had a couple of my friends that are casual moto fans, which is John and I had this discussion, how odd it is that I have casual moto fans, because everybody's usually rabid.
In or out,
Like
yeah.
I've got one friend, he went skiing with us yesterday, and another guy that lives in Colorado. And we even talked with him about moto a little bit yesterday. He's like a big baseball, football guy. Like he could tell you every
knows
Falcons.
stats.
He knows everything.
Yeah.
But he also follows motocross. And so we were talking about
And
the
doesn't
race.
ride.
And never on a motorcycle. And so we were talking about it.
Big
and
digging fan.
those casual, digging fan. And so the casual guys, they like the mud race. I mean, he was like, yeah, it's pretty cool to see the mud race. It changed things up a little bit, this, that, and other. And I said, Kevin hates your guts.
Yeah.
You know that.
Tell me who it is.
Motocross shouldn't even have dirt. Kevin wants it to where the tracks snap together like they're just sections.
There you go.
And you haul the sections in and they
Made
snap
out of resi,
together.
like Travis Pastrana backflips on.
Yeah, he's tired of this getting dirt and
It's all
Yeah, I think you
turf.
can buy it on Etsy. Somebody on
Yeah,
Etsy
yeah,
and
Etsy.
Pinterest.
Yep.
Somebody
Yes.
made a track.
Set of whoops.
$499. You can get it sent to a
polyester
stadium.
resin,
They
dude.
do the whole, it's in that same turf they use on football fields.
What
baseball
tire
fields.
is hooking on that poly
That
res
resi,
tonight,
bro.
man?
Yeah,
So
landing on
cool.
it.
We got a grass track for Supercross this year.
Yes, exactly.
But like you all said, one race, okay, but back to back, like I just feel bad. Like Joe Shimoda, done, season over, splash of water, you're
Yeah.
out, buddy. Good
Yeah,
job.
you lost about 25 points right there. It's terrible.
And I know it can happen to anybody. I get it, but and you're right. I'm an old school 2 strokes forever race on Sunday. Screw this, but like that particular thing, not a fan of it.
You know what it is?
That-
I think we figured this out tonight already. It's the fact that Kevin had to clean up after so many mud races in his youth.
It ruined him.
There could be
he
something.
He
probably
has
hates it.
worried himself sick over who scrubs the tough block covers.
That's a lot of
Yes.
work.
He's like, I know that guy's still out there scrubbing those. I know he is. And I'm like,
Look at how
damn.
clean you get to call a race this weekend, Jason Weigandt. Just take a look around and know that stuff was submerged.
Dude's
like
having
the
to armor
Titanic.
all the dang tough block covers and make them shiny again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't know the teams. I think we all just used a blanket statement of like, oh, the poor mechanics and the poor teams and the poor mechanics. But I didn't know the actual detail of that. I was on the rental car shuttle, and the Star Racing guy said, I assumed, honestly, maybe I'm dumb, that they just went through like down to the frame every week, but they don't do that. I think it's every 4th or 5th race. So you're really only doing that 3 or 4 times in a
I didn't
Supercross
know
season.
that either.
Yeah, so they had to do it after round 2, and Star actually said that the mechanics were just going to fly home back to Florida and just go fly on Thursday and check the bikes and go racing. That's usually what they do, and they had to keep them in California all week between rounds 2 and 3 because they had to do full frame down rebuilds after 2 rounds, which they did not plan. So that's just them. That's every team. I'm sure. Okay, that was not in the plans. I didn't know people had to work that much harder. Like we all say it, but I'm like, now I have an actual tangible, instead of being home for 4 days, they had to stay in California for 4 extra days
Yeah.
Wash
to fix
bikes.
these bikes.
What
Now
about
Kevin's
Tough
got an
Block Joe?
ulcer.
Tough
got-
Block Joe is out of gas.
You're
dude.
getting an ulcer.
Tough luck, Joe.
He was worried about how many gallons of gas through those pressure washers, just trying like crazy to keep up.
And
on-
look, I have to wipe down my Tough Blocks. I have 13 Red Bull Tough Blocks that I am responsible for.
So that's why you're so
And I
hooked to
hate
this
doing
dude.
it. I hate wiping down the trailer. I don't like when bikes roll in, they're dirty. Like we have done an event in Tennessee that was the nastiest event, and I rolled everything in straight out of the mud, threw it in this trailer, and my OCD, I was like, oh,
All the way home?
I got to get this stuff out of here. I got to wipe down everything.
That
The
was
bikes-
Loretta Lynn's 13. I threw everything in the camper and drove, and you called me from the trophy presentation, and
Yeah, I like, dude, you got top 10.
yeah, and I'm sitting there going, hey man, there's mud dripping off everything I got, and this was the old camper, so it's dripping in my bedroom, like that's where the bike's parked.
Dude,
So I know you're OCD on that, Kevin. I just
can't do it.
I just don't want you to lose any more sleep.
All right, I'm going to let it go.
You're getting an ulcer.
There's a Tough Block dude, though.
Poor Tough Block guy just worked himself to death in California last week.
He's just laying at the edge
He
of the
just fell
stadium,
over
just
dead.
dead.
What happened to him? Tough Blocks got him. The mud race got him.
Back-to-back mud races.
Yeah, the loss of lives over these mud races is incredible, man.
It always blows my mind how many OCD people are involved with motocross. I'd say it's definitely more than half. Like more people are neat freaks in this game than the opposite, which is very odd to me
For a
for a
dirt
sport that we pretty
sport?
much call dirt
Yes,
bike racing. But yes, I'm OCD about not being OCD. Like I'm obsessively not obsessive compulsive. But I
You
am
had a half a
rarity.
gallon of gas from a PW that you rode up in your truck that had just spilled into the back of your Jeep when you went to Loretta's to
Yeah.
get it serviced. And I'm like, there is literally 15 ounces of fuel in your bed of your
That's
Jeep.
not good because it's a
in
Jeep.
the interior that I'm just
Yes.
breathing in.
In the
interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Weege doesn't care. But think about this. Like it'd be different if it's 1970 where the bikes are there was a motor, there was a frame, there was a seat on top of it, and there was no fairing you know what I mean? There's no body wrap. There's nothing that you need to whatever. You had
To
blue
pimp
jeans,
out.
leather black boots, nothing cool. Now, dude, there is so much
Every
cool
detail is accounted
shit
for.
involved in the goggles are so badass. I could stare at badass 100% or Oakley goggles or
Look right there. You got some Carreras right
yeah,
beside
those
you.
Carreras are not badass. Those are the most.
I'm kidding.
I know they look like they.
It's like a joke. It's
Yeah.
like eyeglasses.
Yeah,
Hey,
they look
put
like
these put these reading glasses.
You get at
on.
Home Depot or something to
Yeah.
go cut plywood with.
Well, I can tell you this: when I got back into riding after many years, and
After you made a wrong phone call to the wrong number.
after I accidentally called Kyle
And then bought a 450 that
and
next
bought a
day.
450 the next day. I was like getting on to buy all my gear and shit, and I looked at goggles and I was like, I said, I just get whatever the best. I didn't know what was going to be the right one, so I'm like, I'll just get the best goggles Oakley has and make sure we got it. And they were like $198.
Yeah, they were $200.
I was like,
You're like, well, dang, man. I mean,
I don't remember it
hold
being
on a
quite like
minute.
that.
they used to be 30 for
Yes.
Scott
Yeah.
89s.
They're
you know.
virtual reality. They have a heads-up display. They're
Correct.
Bluetooth.
They monitor
rechargeable
body
goggles.
temperature and
They have telemetry.
I was like, I don't need a prescription.
telemetry.
What-
Oh, it
I
says
don't-
this jump is 81 yards.
Go. Yeah, it's got a
That's
rangefinder
fifth
on it,
gear
like
wide
golf.
open.
It's like freaking Kit Knight Rider in your glasses and your goggles.
Turbo boost now.
What about you, Weege? You just wear whatever the hell you got, like old ass mismatch and fly. Don't matter.
100%. Not, and I don't mean the goggle brand. I mean
It's just a
100% of whatever's just around. That's what I'm wearing for that day. I've never really been able to figure out how to put tear-offs on. I've never really figured out how to be able to remove a lens to be able to clean it. So I don't know if I've ever really ridden with like a lens that's clear. And I don't mean clear as in not tinted. I mean like that doesn't have scratches on it. Yeah, it's just
You're
part
like
of the
me,
deal
though.
when you're obsessively compulsive about not being obsessively compulsive.
You're like me, like it doesn't slow me down. I'm not. I wouldn't be.
It actually does. It really, the goggle thing in particular really does suck. I mean, we all know that gear looks cool, but I don't know if the colorway really has an impact on how you ride. But being able to see out of the goggles does matter. I just don't have the organizational skills to do anything about
No,
it.
you're looking
Basic,
at.
just licking a lens. You
You're
can't
looking
lick
at
that.
it all wrong from another slow guy, man. You got to embrace that you can't really see the stuff, and it keeps you from overcorrecting on all
Yeah,
the
there's
little
no
shit.
what there. I don't know.
lack of vision?
I don't know
When
what
you-
I'm
When
seeing.
you're not using that vision, you're probably a lot smoother than you would be.
If you're allocating other body functions
Yeah.
to other places rather than vision, it might make you stronger. You
Yeah.
can send energy other way.
Jason, you
Hey.
ever clean some iridium goggles with some brake parts cleaner?
Like Kevin.
I don't know. I really don't know how to clean anything.
Okay.
So my computer screens, like windshield in my car, like
Motor
if
oil.
I wipe anything, I just create smears. So I
create
just
more
don't do it.
smears.
Hey,
yes.
Yes.
we're together. Last time we were riding, I had on 2 different gloves, and luckily I had on I had a right and a left, and not just 2 rights or lefts.
Riding
So-
with the puffy,
Mismatched, but right.
the back of the palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I pull up, and John's like, "Hey man, that's a cool set of gloves." I said, "I know. I got another set just like I'm at home."
He does. One's blue, one's red. Something like that. Black and red.
Hey, remember those JT gloves from the '80s that were plastic on the back?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I
I want to see somebody use those
what were those
right-handed on the
called?
left hand, flip them
I rem-
upside down.
Yes. You're riding on plastic with
Yeah.
one hand.
They're not paw tactors. That's Fox. But
Yeah, I
yeah.
was thinking of that's what I was trying to
I
picture.
still have some paw protectors with the plastic
For
on
sure.
the back.
Absolutely.
That's classic times.
I was dinking around on eBay because we did have the 50th anniversary race, and I wasn't sure if they were going to ask us to wear retro attire or whatnot. So I did. I'd never done this. I'd never gone on eBay and just typed in I typed in
Yeah.
Axo.
It's
or
there.
Fox paw protector. Dude, there's so much stuff out there, and it is. And I guess this is the way all the collectors in the world are. But there's so many things where I'm like, dude, that was so normal and cheap back then, and now it's like, oh my god, I could have this. It was so normal, but
Yeah.
now you're like, I can't even imagine what it'd be like to hold a pair of these gloves.
Oh, they would feel archaic.
Yeah, like an HRP
They're
chest
stiff,
protector.
man.
You're like, what is this? Like,
Yeah, but it's jarring to be like, hey, wait, this used to be just I could just go down to my dealership and
Yeah,
buy
they
it.
had tons
And
of them
now
on the
it's like,
shelf,
I would-
right?
Yeah, and now it's like, you would pay $300 just to be like, oh my God, it exists for real.
Just to be
it becomes like
around
a shrine.
Yeah, an Axo
And it was
corduroy
just-
hat. Hell yeah.
Yeah, any of those. And dude, it's all out there. It's shocking how much. I was picking Axo specifically because they're pretty much not around. So I'm like, it's like a neutral brand.
Yeah, nobody's going to call you and complain.
Yeah, why are you trying to represent this?
Yeah.
guy?
Showing favoritism. The Jim
And
Hill.
it's only old school. Like it only exists in the past.
Man.
And I was like, damn, dude, all this stuff that I wanted then is available. It's just, why would I pay $500 for this twill jacket?
Yes.
Twill.
That's an angle I've never thought of. Like you're trying to participate in the 50-year anniversary, and you've got to think about the politics of what vintage junk you throw on.
Yeah, you
just
like
to
that.
participate.
Yeah.
I never even thought about
That's
that.
a- that was a
You
smart
like that?
move.
I'm like, there's no one that complain about Axo because they're not a competitor to anybody.
You
Wow.
should have just thrift stored it and got like a 1974 sport jacket of some kind, like
Yeah, just pull
a
the old
suit.
Art Ekman,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
polyester suit of some
out
sort.
there.
Larry Myers.
Hey, and speaking of Art Eckman, dude, this is your shot to be the voice of Supercross. Have you put any thought into like what you remember as a kid? Like we all know what that guy was: Larry Huffman, Dave Despain, Larry Myers. Like you're that dude. Does that trip you out a little bit?
No pressure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought about it a lot for a long time, but oddly, lately, I think it was like, I kind of knew this is probably the way it was headed. And I just have to say right here, like, if Daniel Blair doesn't decide to walk away from this job for whatever reason he did, I probably just continue to be the motocross guy and just do some spot Supercross stuff here and there. So thank you, Daniel Blair, for opening the door. He was awesome. He left. So once that happened, I'm like, this is probably the direction I'll go, but I'll just sit here and wait. Sometimes the more you struggle, the tighter the ropes get. So I'm like, I'm not going to bother anybody. I'm just going to sit here and see what happens. But when I got the call, I kind of expected it. And it hasn't hit me like that. Like I've been planning to do this for 20 some years. And what would it actually be like? Now we're only a few days out. I used to think about that stuff a lot. But I think now I'm just like, dude, it's not a celebration. You just have to, it's just a job. You just have to go in and do it. And this is actually cool. You guys will like this. When we had the first SMX round in September, everybody was so hyped up on like, this is new, this is different, this is exciting, it's new, it's different, it's exciting, it's new, it's different, it's exciting. And everybody's all hyped up. And at one point, actually, it was Carmichael. This is awesome. He's like, hey, you guys are acting like everyone would when we'd go to Motocross the Nations. And everyone would be too pumped up and trying to do too much. And the whole thing is like, you're already doing the best you can all the time. Like, don't try to do more. Like, just ride like you normally do. That's why you got picked for the team. And I was like, damn, that's some good advice. Like, just do the same thing you've already been doing. Like, it's not like you're just putting in half effort
Right.
the rest of the year. So maybe it's that too, where I'm just like, this is not, I'm an encyclopedia and I'm going to show everybody all my knowledge. It's just do the job the best way you possibly can. I used to think about that stuff, but this is just reality now, I guess. Just do it.
I guess
Just do the job.
I thought of it more because like Art's passing and we've all really given a lot of thought to it. And it was right in my sweet spot of what Supercross was and how important it was to me and how I lived and died off of everything they said. So, and I'm not saying, oh, Weege, you got to be better. No, you're here for a reason. So you've done the work and you're the guy. You're perfect for it. But I was just like, really, it's just got to be really cool when you just kind of sit back to yourself. I don't even think your wife would appreciate it, and probably not many people would appreciate it, like except you and a handful of people that go, man, I am about to do what 5 people have done. You know, not many people have done, and do it. You know,
You this isn't even right. Like, there's 30 MLB teams, right? So there's 30 play-by-play guys for starters, or multiple. And there's a radio guy, and maybe some guys does half the games, and the other guy does half. There could be 50. Right?
Sure.
There could be, just in baseball alone, there could be 50 full-time normal MLB play-by-play guys, maybe 60. This sport, you often only have one. So it's not something I take lightly. I try to say to myself, but, I get in this discussion with the racers all the time, and I don't even think they realize what I'm trying to say to them. But we all look at, having a factory ride and being paid to race motorcycles is like the coolest thing ever, right? It's what everyone as kids aspired to be, right? But I don't think they're feeling it when they're in it. I mean, you think Eli Tomac right now is at any point saying to himself,
dude, this is
you know what,
crazy.
man? I'm making like $2 million a year to race motorcycles. No, he's just like, I'm freaking 18 points back or whatever it is, and I gotta get. Yeah, I haven't even won. I didn't get on the podium this week. It's just. I think to do the job properly, you almost can't do that, which kind of sucks. Yeah. I wish those guys could. I think they get better at it as they get older, enjoying that part. But I don't know. You're just surrounded by all these driven people that I almost think can't do it.
Yeah. And maybe they will when they retire one day. Maybe they'll have that reckoning.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too, because they had it as a child, and hopefully you circle back.
You see some athletes though that like I feel like you're seeing more now that appreciate the fact that they're in it. You know what I mean? And maybe it's the fact that every pro athlete probably has a therapist, sports psychologist.
Or if they got a good mom or dad to go, hey, you listen here, like Charles Barkley. Yeah. Barkley's mom.
How would they say it?
It's terrible now. You're him playing basketball. Like, you're terrible.
Terrible.
But I imagine his mother would slap him around. Like, I remember that story of Charles and Shaq getting into a altercation at a game. Then Charles's mom calls, or Shaq's mom calls him, and then puts Charles's mom on three-way and says, listen here, you go to apologize to Charles next game. Yeah, that's right. You don't be hitting on my boy. Like, he didn't know that his mom and Charles's mom were best buddies.
They're
and
talking.
They set him straight.
Wow.
Like, that little 5'0" mom
amazing.
set that 7-foot man right back.
Wow.
I think about, like, you see athletes now kind of like Gronkowski. Gronkowski knew what he was doing. He was having fun. He was the best in the game. And that dude was having a blast.
Yes. And you hope that they can, right?
I mean, appreciate it.
It's a very short time when you're at the tip of the sport.
I know.
Unless you're an announcer, and then you're going to be an announcer for 50
25 years, dude.
You're right. Yeah, I need to enjoy it. I got plenty of time. There's nothing. I have no pressure. Yeah, we're here for decades.
No, you're here forever. But no, think about this, Weege.
Yeah.
We said this about our Eckman. You know, a lot of times you have these favorite sports moments where you can picture a picture from a magazine, or you can picture, something about that visually. But for us, man, Art, he called things in a way that we remember what he said along with that motocross action picture or whatever.
Yeah, he's just part of the moment as the guy racing.
We've got his call in our head. I wonder if
a good announcer is if he knows when to lay out and he knows how to.
Well, you put on Instagram this week about. And it might have been Larry Myers or Huffman saying that back wheel's wobbling like the back end of a San Diego stripper at a nightclub or something like that.
Like, wow.
I mean, what a description, right? So, like, your voice might be tied.
Oh, it will
to current fans' memories one day, and they'll be like, "Man, you remember that time?"
The Vin Scully of Jason Weigandt.
You might have that. You might have some saying you throw down one day.
No, it has happened. The Chad Reed Shatterpole. I mean, for sure. No, I'm not kidding. Like, kids come up, like they can repeat all those words because it's viral clip, right? So they just watch it. They've all watched it 3,000 times.
Yes,
and they can repeat that whole 45-second segment from him crashing to getting up. And it does happen.
How cool is that?
Dave Despani's actually, I think, to me, was always the best at that because they're all calling the action per se, but he could also put like this poetic and there's so many ones I remember. So, for example, the Bradshaw not winning the title at LA in '92. I can tell you everything he said at that one. And one of the interesting things he said, he's like, "This is not what anyone expected. If someone had told you that Damon Bradshaw would crash this one away, everyone would have believed you. But no one thought Damon Bradshaw would just come out and be mediocre. But that's what happened." And I'm like, wow, that's well said.
Yep.
Nobody thought Bradshaw would just get fifth. He's either going to win or crash.
Wild.
But instead, he was just mediocre. And I'm like,
who thinks of those words, right?
And I'm like, I will never forget that that's 32 years ago.
Right.
And I remember saying that.
Yeah, and you know exactly how it sounded.
And it was such a pivotal moment in the Supercross series and Bradshaw's career, and Jean-Michel Bell trying to go so slow to help him out.
Trying to help his competitor.
And he's like, I got to go, man. I got to go.
Not his teammate. Yeah, trying to help the competitor, man.
Pretty
right.
wild. And you
remember that. And then it's like that for all sports. I can tell some calls from Yankees World Series that Kevin will not want me to talk about right now.
Yeah.
No.
But I can remember the call of these big moments. So, yes. But I have to think, again, that's just going to happen. I don't need to
No, you don't have to dial it up.
No.
You just be you, and these kids will come up and recite what you said on a 45-second clip, right?
Pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well-
But the main thing is, I always say, no one's buying tickets or even turning on the show for the announcer. So you try to keep that.
You better tell
perspective
Wes
the whole
Kane
time.
that, bro.
Well, it is like that. I think some of the guys try to go extra over the top, and that is what Wes Kane is awesome at. And the role he is hired for, it is good, but that's not the role that I'm asked to play.
No, they don't need that on TV like that. Yeah, that definitely won't
The
translate.
show is not about you. And I explain quite often, even when I do the podiums at Loretta's, that's not the same guy you're getting on this show right now. Like, my goal is not to be funny, not to tell interesting stories. That is the rider's chance. It could be their only chance ever to do that. So I am not there to steal the show from them and what could be their only podium that ever mattered in their life. So I'm just robot vanilla guy, and the stage is yours. And I think you got to know your place sometimes.
Okay.
Talking about Bradshaw and Bell and him trying to slow down and help him make that. This is changing the subject a little bit, but that just think about how, like, now people get so twisted up about, oh, they're teammates. He shouldn't do that with his teammate.
Well,
he should have.
Oh,
Chase
dude.
Sexton right here. He let
Yeah,
Plessinger by, and
Yeah.
I mean,
and that
this
created
this is an
Dude.
individual sport. You know what I mean? Like, and people get so twisted about, oh, that's his teammate.
It happens in F1 like weekly though, Jason, right?
Yeah, F1 is like, those guys are the F1 teams, like, you watch that show, they crash each other all the time.
Or they're just like, he's going to win today. Max will win today.
Yeah, or they'll tell him to pull over.
Box.
Pull over.
Yeah. It's it doesn't matter all that much here, but I feel like a lot of times, hey, we're just reaching for a little extra drama if we can find it. That's probably the only time the teammate thing it's probably talked about. You're right.
Yeah, probably so.
More than it should, because it doesn't really mean that
But
much.
even casual fans, like, I hear people talk about it, and they're like, well, man, that's his teammate. Well, dude,
They don't realize.
yeah,
Oh.
they race
They're
each
not
other
pulling over,
every
helping
day.
each other.
Yeah.
They're just
No.
they're just doing the best they can. I even push back when I hear people say, like, this team, well, that's the team's A rider and that's the team's B rider, and I'm like, dude, they got two riders.
Yeah.
The goal is for both of them to be as good as they can possibly be. We ain't got time to make one better, because any one of them's a torn ACL for being done for the year. They're trying as hard as they can with everybody, whether it's the dudes riding together at Baker's. Our goal is to have all four be as good as they can be, whether it's the team and the bike and the parts. I think people would be surprised how little, when they're in the trenches, they even think about that. They're just like, what do you need? We'll try to help. Either one of you.
Yeah.
There's not all these team, well, this is for this guy and this is for that. Because ultimately, okay, we'll just pick one team. If you have Sexton and Plessinger, what is the goal? Beat the other guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Get a KTM on the top.
Yeah,
of
and they're
the
like,
box,
man,
right?
I can't believe he won on that B bike we had for him. We had less
Well,
horsepower.
remember-
We give all the good horsepower to Chase, and he still won.
They used to say, who was it that didn't get the factory parts because Eli was getting them on? He was on Cowie. Remember that rumor? So like, hey,
That was the rumor that because Eli was leaving, they weren't giving him.
Oh, that's
the
what it
good
was. Okay,
parts.
Eli did
Right.
not have
Yeah,
the good
yeah.
parts because he's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm just like, what would be better for Cowie?
win.
Yes. To
Win the title or not?
Yeah.
Right?
And
Well,
he won the last race too. Like,
Right. Yeah, you don't get the good stuff. I won on a stock bike, man. Those
Yeah.
guys screwed me.
Yeah, when Eli won
And you're
that
right,
last
he did.
one.
He actually won the last race,
Right.
the last round of the year.
Yeah. On a totally
So, did they
stock
bring the
bike,
parts
evidently.
back, or
He bought that bike. He had to go
on
buy
a
it.
bike. he had to buy
Evidently, he was
from
on a totally
dealership.
stock bike
yeah.
when he
Yeah.
bought that.
Yeah, they don't care. I mean, Sexton, I think, was leaving for a long time. Not necessarily signed, but I think people knew his mind was made up.
For sure.
But I mean, meanwhile, he wins the Supercross title.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I know that Tomac got hurt, but it wasn't like Honda was giving up. Like, they were still giving him
Yeah, test
everything
days
they
and
had.
let's try this,
Here,
Chase.
give-
Let's see if this setting's
Yeah.
better.
Give
Let's-
Jet and Hunter all the really good 450 parts on their 250.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. exactly.
And, you know,
There's a lot less thinking, I think, that goes into it. I think it's just
Us
head
being
down.
dummies.
It's
How can we
just
get better
effort.
every
Yeah,
day?
just
How can we get better?
effort. Just keep
That's it.
trying.
And we're a
Just
couple
keep trying.
months away from anybody ever saying it was because Eli got hurt again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that memory will fade pretty quick. You
For
know,
sure.
Yeah.
as soon
Yeah, I
as Eli
hope so.
retires, you know.
Yeah. In the end, I mean, look, even this week with the discussion of Anderson and Jet, Anderson is going to be constantly referred to as he's a former champion. He's a former champion. He's a former champion.
Yeah.
No one cares how or where or when. You just know he did it.
He did it.
So yeah, you're right.
gnarly.
Eventually, you just get that label and you're good.
Yeah.
Hey, do you ever do you remember meeting Kevin Kelly?
I do. Yeah.
Anything like your first impression?
Supercross, I think 2000.
I think so.
God, 24
probably
years?
in the press box, and then I don't know how we hit it off so well in the press box that I know we were driving to an after party together. I mean, we didn't even know each other. How's this possible? Like when opening.
Oh, you look like you're safe. Let's ride together, bro.
Yeah, DC introduces
I swear
me.
That's how it went down. What's that?
Yeah, DC said, "Yeah, man, this is Jason," or blah blah blah. Next thing you know, we stood in the exact same place, didn't move.
Yep.
We started talking about the exact same things, like the dumb shit from '89, the Supercross series, the same things that I keyed on. He was bringing up the exact same things that me and Joey laughed about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very intricate little things from the broadcast. I'm like, okay, it's like talking to your
this
twin
is my
brother
dude
or
right
something.
here, yeah.
He was in khakis with a blue.
I swear we
button-up
drove
shirt.
to the after party together, and we didn't. Opening ceremonies had not met. End of the night,
going to the after
going
party.
to the party together.
Yep.
Wild.
In
I swear it was like that.
In our first race we ever worked together in Houston, Texas, we had one bed.
Oh,
Was that's not at
Four-stroke
Supercross?
nationals.
No, 4-stroke nationals.
Okay.
That's not for all you people that don't believe in love at first sight.
You know, I'm here to prove you wrong.
So you guys, your first time working together was a 4-stroke national?
Yes.
It was Floresville
Kelly
Cycle
Smith.
Ranch.
Probably tearing it up. Who was it? Who was you remember anybody?
That was the Spud Walters
Yeah.
and
Lance Smell or-
Paul Carpenter.
So
Yeah.
is that considered
Those two
like
guys.
an East Coast?
It was.
You remember they used to have like
they had the
four-stroke-
Eastern. This was Don Schneider's Western 4-stroke nationals.
Western,
the big.
okay.
This is the big one.
the big one? Yes.
Yeah, in Floresville, and then Lynn Nickerson was there helping us announce, and
Yep.
we got our hotel room. We got set up, and like, all right, we got you all set up, and a king. We're like a couple of kings are like, no, a king. We're like,
God, dude.
all right, whatever.
So you slept with him that early in the
100%.
relationship.
Straight up got after it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you saw how quickly we moved from meeting each other to
To just
going
going
to
to
the party
parties.
together.
Yes.
You can't,
Yeah.
you can't stop that train when it starts rolling,
No.
bro.
No.
I woke up and he's wearing my jersey, cooking my eggs. I'm like, oh my god.
And you didn't think once you should call him a
No,
skank?
it said Kelly on the back, and he's literally no pants, just a long
Nothing,
jersey.
just a long jersey.
How do you like your eggs in the bed with me?
See, I would have called him a skank. He might have came around on me, but I'd been like, dang, this dude, he
Too
just
easy.
slept with me.
I
He's
don't
wearing my
know.
shirt.
This is going to be this is probably even going to be not as weird as that, but weird. I don't. Where did we go, Kevin and Jason? Me, you, and Kevin had a hotel room, and Kevin and I slept in that. We did it. We weren't all three of us in one bed. We had two beds.
But somebody slept
Was
with
it?
somebody.
Did you go to Anaheim 05 with us in the rain? Me and Nick were at that race. Now I'm just wondering, were you a part of that?
I was there. I don't know if I cannot remember what race you're talking about. I mean,
Might have
could've
been
been that.
San Diego. When
San Diego was.
I was there.
We did a Red Bull
Ooh,
thing
there
at
was a
San Diego. Yep.
Yeah, and
That
so
could be it.
That's
we're
it.
in the we're in the room, and you're not gonna remember this because I think you were probably freaking sleep sitting up or something like that. It's just
sleeping sitting up.
we just
There's a lot of sleeping on top of my laptop while I'm still trying to type.
Yeah.
a lot of that.
we were I don't know what happened, and you were asleep, and like you sat straight up in your bed, like you're in the bed. Kevin and I were in the bed next to you, and you sat straight up in your bed and just looked around like Debo in Fridays.
Oh, God.
I think he was out of it.
And
Yeah.
I just looked at Kevin.
He was
and
having
we-
night terrors.
And we just went back to sleep.
Yeah.
We're
He's
trying to
probably-
make out, Weege.
Yeah.
I think you were mad that it wasn't you in the bed with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was pissed.
I'm still over here, guys.
I don't think
Damn.
has Kevin told you what else happened at that first race we announced in Texas? What also
No.
went down?
Of course not. He
Oh.
likes to hide.
So we get super lost. I don't even know where we're trying to go. I just know it's like, was it going to the airport? We got super lost.
To the hotel.
Okay, we got lost going to the hotel. I just know it was at night.
Yeah, we're
So we
coming
get
from the
super
race
lost.
to the hotel. Can't find it. No
That's what it
GPS.
is. Yeah, this is before GPS. We're totally screwed. I think it's the first time I was ever in Texas. We're super lost, and we don't know where we're going. And now it's like 1 a.m. And then Kevin decides, hey man, you ever do like an e-brake slide in a car? I heard with these rental cars you could just do it. So he just starts doing it, and then we get pulled over.
Oh, my
So-
gosh.
I'll correct a little bit of that. We made it to the hotel room, and I was like, hell yeah, we made it to the hotel. And I was like, dude, let's do a rally lap around this place. Let's just give it the business.
Yeah, we haven't been in the car long enough.
So we go around this thing. We do a couple of rally laps.
How'd that go? When you get on the brakes like that.
And then we do this e-brake slide, and here you go, Weege.
Yep. Then the lights turn on, and Kevin's like, "Oh, I'm done now. I did it now. I'm done." So he gave us a real. I mean, this is Texas, right? So this is not good.
Son, was it like a Marshall
a lot of
or
that.
something?
Hey, you
really
boys done got yourself into a heap
trooper
of
cowboy
trouble.
hat thing. Yeah. Where's the balladeer?
Yeah.
So he tells us, "Oh, you boys are from out of state, huh?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, it's Saturday night, Sunday morning. I mean, we can't process
don't get in till
out-of-state
Monday.
licenses until Monday morning." Yeah.
Oh God.
Yep.
I'm like, we got flights
like,
in the morning. No, you don't anymore.
And he's like, "No, you don't. You're not. You can't leave until Monday when the courthouse opens." So he just gave us a scare for as long as he could, and the guy acted dead serious. And then I guess he was just screwing with us to teach us a lesson. Was that what he was doing?
He was exercising his power.
I'm just joshing you. He brought another dude. They all pulled. There's two more.
God, I need backup.
I'm sure they wanted to run our license, make sure we weren't whatever. And they're like, I said, we got flights early in the morning. No, you don't. Judge
so we
comes
hear
in
you
on
two
Monday.
guys are sharing a room up there.
Yeah, did you ride
We
a
don't
KD?
like your kind in
He's
this
like,
town.
you got you a KD80 back home, boy.
Grew up on a
Figures.
goddamn KD80. We ain't having no arson in this town.
No.
The clerk at the hotel just called the police and said, "We got two dudes sleeping in the same bed.
Come and get them.
Yep.
Two guys wanted one room, man. What the hell?
Yeah, so he ultimately lets us go. But I remember as
That's not cool,
The car
man.
was not even stopped shaking. It was like, and my car still, and then the lights go. Like it happened like that. I was like,
It
SWAT
was.
team style, dude.
You just said it's not
was.
illegal. It's a renter car.
So they were
It's
obviously
not-
across the street watching us go.
Yeah, he's
watching
just over
a
there.
couple of laps. He goes,
Well,
look at these dumbasses. Like,
dumbasses.
it's pitch dark. They're like, look at these guys. You can see the orange glow. All right, let's go.
I'm pretty sure it's not illegal to do that in a rental car. I mean, they should. There's.
I've never seen it in a rental agreement.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I don't think it was the rental car point. I think it was that's reckless driving point. I think is the
In
issue
my
there,
town.
regardless of who owns the vehicle.
Yeah, the Quality Inn folks weren't happy with
I
it.
picture he had like a stick, like walking tall, and he just rolls in there.
And he pops the rear end of the, looks like a headlights
yeah,
out.
exactly.
Oh boy.
One king bed, huh?
Baseball practice is wrapping up here, boys.
Yes, perfect,
Right on.
perfect. We'll end it with you, Jason. Best of luck to you this weekend in the booth. We will be texting you and bothering you, and I'll just see how late you respond into the game.
Hopefully it doesn't snow or hurricane or anything for this
Hail.
race. Kevin will have a nervous breakdown if the weather changes at all.
Just step in and help that
Yeah,
tough block
you're right.
dude.
For his sake.
For the
his
tough
sake,
block
like,
scrubber guy.
Yeah.
Tough block Joe.
Yes.
Tough block Joe.
Help that
TJ.
dude out, brother.
Yeah. Just you're right. Actually, for Kevin's sake, we can't have this.
No.
I mean, he was so crushed after just one of them, and then I'm like, oh
And then
no,
there's
poor
two,
Kevin.
and he wants to
They actually
write the
held-
sport off.
He's
They
out
did a little
screaming in the
moment of
front
silence at the
yard.
beginning, opening ceremonies at San Diego. They were just like, and this is not actually a memoriam. It's just our thoughts are with Kevin Kelly, who's so sad
Who's struggling?
over another mud race. He's just, if we could just get some thoughts and prayers. This is not about mortality. No one is sick or anything,
This
but
guy
he's
hates.
just so sad.
And then at the
over what's
very
about
end,
to
it goes,
transpire.
this message brought to you by the local KD80 Owners Association.
Of the world, yeah.
Some shit like that.
And some kid goes, ha ha, queer. Like that.
That's their slogan.
All right. We'll let you go, buddy. Best of luck this weekend. Have some fun.
Yeah, appreciate it. I can't believe the day's here.
There you go.
Could have happened
It's
any
awesome.
time within the
Congrats.
last 20 years, but it's finally now.
The ladder does have runs.
Get that tweed jacket and that black turtleneck handy, like the Art Eckman special. That's the throwback
the
you
Art
run,
Eckman.
bro. That's
Yep.
the
Yeah.
timeless
Yep.
classic.
Yeah.
Hello. Yep.
Hello.
Thanks, boys.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
See ya.
See you, bro.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeremy, I noticed you with your shirt off. I've got to get my buddy Chris Williams.
What if that was his throwback? He announced just like Art in Art's
Crushed. And
outfit.
if he came with like a horrible, those terrible like blonde surfer wigs.
Yes, it's awful.
You tell it's
He got black sideburns poking out.
So good.
God, that would have been a gnarly throwback.
That'd have been the best.
Creative.
Can't top it.
Nobody would get over it.
They would get it too. And if he just walked around with a long silver ESPN old school mic.
Yeah.
The Checkers.
And he's holding it way low because it's so long.
Yeah, it's like Bob Barker length.
Yes.
Super long and skinny. But God, that's that tweed. Like he always had a tweed jacket. Art did, and then like some sort of turtleneck.
And it had elbow pads. Man.
Oh yeah, the patches sewn in there for sure.
Yeah, you never knew you were gonna get drug on them elbows.
I remember the first Supercross internet broadcast they did way back. This is like 97, way early, and it's like Jeremy, I noticed in the pits you had your shirt off. You look very fit, and I will never forget. I was like, "Oh my God, did you hear me?" And Joey Case were like, "Did you hear that?"
Of all the things he could have said, though,
Jeremy in the pits, I noticed.
Your physique was very
and his voice is obviously I'm doing it's super raspy.
That's the best way to do it.
But like Chris Williams does such a good impression because Chris had to work with Art and he would have to call him like, Art, we got to get up, we got to go to the stadium, that kind of stuff. He would call him, goes, hello. Like he would answer the phone
totally
with that
sleepy,
super raspy, dry cigarette
hadn't cleared
voice.
his throat yet.
Are you down there getting the Continental or what are we doing?
Every time you answer the phone, hello, this is Art Eckman.
Because if we got to order the food,
hello, friend.
If it's a Continental or
I'll have to get Chris on just to call us
cheese.
Hear his freaking voice, his artist.
That's awesome.
Jam up.
So we didn't really talk about the race much, but that
was a good race.
Yeah, it was a good race. And then Plessinger, who's been on the show, wins. That's awesome. That was
good for him.
He's gotten really close. That other one was last lap.
Yeah, Detroit
led it to the end, and it's like, dang, and heck, nobody had him holding the red plate in our discussions. Like we didn't think. Well, Plessinger will probably be leading the series.
Nobody had him in fantasy. He'll
be leading the series anytime now, right?
Yeah.
But dude, it's not. Nothing is. You can't count on anything. I mean, Chase is 1 point back.
Yeah, and
they'll take that if you said, "Hey man,
here's where we're going to be."
I could give the red plate to Plessinger and Chase. You be 1 point
what
back.
If I win and then you finish second?
We can't do that.
Yeah, I got to win every time.
You can't do that.
That's what I
El
thought
Diablo and Magic Man.
But again, Roxon may have been at times
2 times the fast. He should have won maybe 2 races.
Yeah.
We still don't know anything, which is awesome.
He should have been 2 out of 3 probably.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Cooper Webb, who will be on the show next week.
Yeah. Well, this smells a lot like his championship year.
Cooper could have won 2 out of these 3 races,
or got second and almost won that one.
Yes,
this past week.
He's right there too.
Oh, if he had a guy, I mean, he. Let me tell you, you don't count him out ever.
He's a racer.
No, he's a closer, dude.
He's a racer.
If he's within 5, if he's in the same area code, I don't know how he does it. It is magic. But that guy
sniper.
Is so badass on the last few laps.
Just like that.
I'm, and people are like, man, we used to get this shit from other people like, oh man, you guys just hang on to everybody's jocks. I don't dislike anybody that races dirt bikes. I don't understand why they want you to hate. Well, you guys you're so easy on this guy. I'm like, what? Do you want me never to get to interview?
Hated.
No, do you want me never to be able to interview another guy again? Like just talk shit about him. Like, oh well, I guess he's never coming on.
I hate that.
That's dumb. That's dumb. But I have always been a huge Cooper Webb fan.
Yeah.
And it's because of
he probably called all his mini bike stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I did everybody out there right now. No doubt, a million times I've called their names, but not even that. It's just Cooper's. He changed the narrative on how a race ends. Like most of the time, when you get past, you lose. That dude can latch on like nobody I've ever seen
and wait you out.
Yes,
and
I don't.
He pulls the trigger.
It just comes out of nowhere.
Yes, you'll be like, he's 5 seconds back, and he's 2 seconds. He's in the frame. How did he get in this shot?
You think the race is over?
He did that this past weekend at least twice. I'm like, oh man, it's over. It's out to 5 again. Then he's right back again.
You see him in the frame before the announcers.
Yeah, so like, hey,
you're like, hey,
there he is.
Hey,
talk about him.
Coop's there.
Yeah.
I liked when he pulled the trigger on Roxon in that last turn, hits the finish line, looks back, and gives him the double shot with the revolver.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool.
I mean, some people think that's cocky or whatever, but I think for him,
he has to have
to just deliver like that. he was just doing his thing, man. I guarantee he didn't go, when I pass him, I'm going to
do
go
this. No, that's
look
the
back.
emotion. That's
it was
like-
just emotion, and he'd got him.
I'm telling you this.
And if Kenny would have done it, I'd have been stoked for Kenny.
Yeah, I loved it, man.
People don't know, like they're not in that position. You know, like then they say, "Oh, this sucks. This sucks." I mean, if I were that good at anything,
I'd be a problem.
You
I would
would
be a.
hate
You would
my
hate
guts.
me. You would. Yeah, I would talk mad shit.
I can
I'm
be
terrible.
a complete dick, and I'm not good at anything.
Well,
No.
and think about
I've
the-
slapped a guy on a basketball court in a men's church league. I'm like, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like when it's over,
Man,
so
dude, he gonna learn today.
he gonna learn today. Mount Perrin, baby. I'm fitting to light these boys up for 12 and 10.
yeah, forget
dog.
dinner on the grounds, dog. I'm worried about this game. I'm fitting to dunk on this dude.
Dude, I give so much leeway to dumb teenage or 20-year-old kids in the heat of moment with
I
money
don't have
on
a
the
problem
line.
with any of that.
I can remember years
it's the
ago
heat of racing.
when, and Kevin will remember this because he was a region tennis champ at Lithia Springs High
I'm not
School.
bragging, but
Still
I
has,
didn't wanna say
you know,
much
and
about
so,
it, but-
I don't have the
Yeah, we don't
trophy
want to
anymore.
talk about
You
it.
need a belt buckle.
Yeah. So, but I can remember way back then, Monica Sellis, and this was big money back then, and it's nothing for a tennis player now, but she won Wimbledon and she made like $4 million the year before, and she was 17. And somebody was like giving her shit because she didn't talk to the media, or they were like, oh, she was an asshole. And I was thinking, if I was 17, you gave me $4 million?
Yep.
Like-
Hate it for you, cuz I got places to be.
I'm jerking now.
Yeah.
my
Broke.
mom would have to.
Yeah.
My mom and dad would have whooped my ass into shape. That's the only saving grace. They
Yeah.
would have. Mr. Black would have been
But
like,
They
"Nick,
would have called you just like Shaq's
you
mom.
dumbass."
Yeah. But after I'd already screwed up.
After you already said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, I'm sorry, y'all. My mom calls it. I gotta fix. That's the way it would have went down. So, have fun riding dirt bikes, man. I got no problem with none of that, dude.
Yeah.
And dude, and these guys that give dudes shit like RJ and Smith and those dudes for riding the 250 class. What do you want them to do? Like
They
what?
won't have a job.
Okay,
otherwise.
so yeah, you back home.
I
You
hate it
when you're in
too,
that
but-
manager's position, making whatever $100,000 a year. You should step down
Yeah.
because you've been there for 10 years and let
Yeah.
somebody
You
else
need to
do
let
it.
these other guys
That's
come
the
through.
dumbest.
That's a great analogy right
That's the
there.
dumbest argument.
You're in management level at
You've
a
made
certain
it.
level,
And
and,
this-
you're getting older, but you didn't move up either.
Skill set's still there. You do a
You
good
stayed
job.
right where you're at, doing a good job, making your big salary or whatever.
yeah, you should just retire and let somebody else do it.
Yeah,
and stop
that's-
making money. That
No one would choose that, right? They would all take that manager job as
Not
long as it'll
retire,
ride.
you quit your job and then have to go do something
correct.
else.
Go figure something else out, or go buy motorcycles and go race out of back. of
The
truck.
original intent of the Dave Coombs, East West, I believe, isn't there anymore because of these guys that are able to stay in the 250 class and have families and
Yeah.
it's not kids. I agree that original intent is not there, but it is not the athlete's fault.
No.
No,
They
And it's
can't help
not,
it. That's
and-
where their job is.
And if you didn't, you're gonna wind up having one class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least
Run
we-
what you brung, brother. I mean, what are we
at
going to
least
do?
we get to see two classes now. I enjoy watching all the racing. I
And-
don't want it to be just 450s.
And it's still there that the 450 class is a little, it's still more special, more elite. You can see it on the screen, especially in that mud race. The 450 dudes went faster. They looked faster.
Yeah.
Maybe they got more horsepower, whatever.
It's
But
a different skill set too,
it's
man.
just you're
you
riding
see
a
those
different
250
motorcycle.
guys on practice, they'll qualify within
Yeah.
3/100ths of the 450 guys.
Mm-hmm.
But do it at they're racing earlier in the night, tracks better.
Yeah.
Those 450 guys, it is chewed up by the time they get there, and you have
It's
4 or
gnarlier.
5 guys you got to deal with.
Yeah.
That 450 class, go tangle with AC
Well,
or
we still
Justin
got the list
Barsha
right here of all
or
the former champions.
AC or Anderson. You ain't gonna rifle through them, and it's way harder. And
Yeah,
the
they'll fight
mental
you
side
until
is-
the absolute
they're badasses.
end.
They
Yeah.
are all champions.
yeah, they're not.
Sexton, champ, Tomac, champ.
Unfortunately,
Webb,
and I like Jet Lawrence just
Lawrence,
fine, but
Anderson, AC, Barsha,
yeah, but they're not
Wilson,
going to get out of
Mookie,
your way.
Craig, no, Brandis, AP,
I watched that race and I was just trying. And like
Kenny
I said,
Roxon.
Cooper,
I like
Justin.
Jet Lawrence, but surely he didn't expect him just to get out of the way. In a mud race, I didn't see anything crazy that would have been.
Anderson would have went faster if it wasn't muddy, but maybe that was all he had for that moment. I don't know. Why is there a fine delivered after the race because the two dudes argued and
Grabbed some
touched each
helmets? I
other?
don't
It
know.
wasn't even bad.
Now,
How
who
could
said
they?
they were going to pay who's fine? I didn't.
Jet
see that.
Jet said he
pay-
would pay Jason's fine,
Yeah.
but
$1,000.
why is there a fine because some dudes were heated after a main?
I mean, David Villeman slapped another man in Atlanta. Like,
hard.
Hard.
Yeah.
And they didn't even get to. I mean,
But that's because he's from France.
What
They're
they
allowed
got
They
to do that.
slap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he do it with his glove?
Yes, he
take
took
his-
it
Yeah, he
off.
took his glove off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then he had a white glove, ran it down his fender. Your back is dirty. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Let's wrap this thing up, man. You guys have done great. It's been awesome.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can, hopefully we can just keep climbing because you got to want it.
You got to want it.
I
man.
want to be employee of the month, but somehow, being early to 9
Listen,
months worth of shows.
Don't
That
go
wasn't
talking
enough.
bad. We're teammates, but you can't go talking bad about me and block passing and hold me up.
We're teammates.
Y'all are skiing teammates.
We're teammates.
Jeeping teammates.
Yeah.
Dirt bike teammates. Are you going to be? Have you wake surfed or anything like that yet?
Not yet.
It's
That's
too cold right now.
They'll be doing that too.
Although he's a polar plunge maniac, he'd probably ski if I said let's go.
right, I know it.
Yeah. Let's
He's
do
so
it.
good. He ain't going to get wet.
Nah,
Just the ladies.
Okay,
I mean
anyway.
at this
I
place,
tried to get him to polar plunge yesterday.
I
and
pulled over next to some river,
the Nanahala
frozen
River.
waterfalls on the side of the river coming in. Frozen waterfalls. That's how cold it is.
Do it.
Nick's like, let's just get in, man. This is when we do
Not
it.
doing it.
We'd have that heat on high all the way home, just be like shaking and stuff. Like, dude, I don't
Can I
think
wear
we
your
should have done
underwear
that.
with you?
We would have had to cuddle up.
Nick's like,
Screw
it's a
that.
5-speed dog. I can't sit in your lap.
Reverse cowgirl all the
He's
way.
too
I can't
tall.
see, man.
You're too tall for that, Nick. If you were shorter, we totally would have polar plunged.
Can I wear your underwear with you?
Yes.
All right, that's it. Maybe Cooper Webb. Hopefully, I think he's planning for 6:30 next Wednesday. So
hope-
Sounds nice.
I'm not gonna say it'd be awesome if he wins.
Oh, how
but he's
about
already
that?
committed.
Oh,
to
that'd
us.
be sweet.
it's all because of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if he has a bad weekend, he's be like, dude, I'm not.
Y'all
in
are the
mood.
only people that wanted to talk to me.
Jerks.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be.
We'll see what happens. Enjoy the racing. Enjoy Jason Weigandt. And that is it.
Mike
Boys,
Muye.
anything else?
Yep.
That's it.
We love you. We need you.